Jean Ordenfall spent his childhood on his family's farm, just south of the Duvet Forest. His parents, Derlin and Macy, had raised him well, teaching him what he needed to know to one day take over. Financially, they did quite well for themselves, carting their crops to nearby towns and cities for sale, although the frigid weather that often surrounded their home did not make it an easy life. As is the case with most youngins living the farm life, John eventually sought to see what else the world had to offer, and so he left in search of what opportunities the neighboring city had for him. It wasn't long before he realized the city life was not his to live. The boy who left, though, had become a man, and the man had met a woman, a blacksmith's daughter by the name of Cerithia. They fell for each other quick, and before they knew it, their love blossomed into a marriage and a son. The son they named Derlin, after Jean's father. Jean eventually returned home to his parents' farm with his family, where they made a life for themselves, a new life for his wife and son, but one all too familiar to Jean. They were happy. That is, until the day vile creatures from beyond the veil made their way into their home. After being driven from his homeland by the insatiable undead that now plague it, Jean seeks out those brave enough to aid him in cleansing his land of the foul fate that befell him and his family, and exacting the vengeance he so eagerly thirsts for.
As a child, Celeste Highcrest would never have dreamed of leaving the sheltered life of luxury she had become accustomed to. Born to two noble parents in a land far beyond the Vale, Celeste's childhood had been fraught with expectation. Her father, High Archivist Saran Highcrest, had set high standards for his two children, and the elder of those two elves, Celeste's sister Cressida, had surpassed all of them. Cressida had found her talents at an early age, her nose buried in books, and magic coming to her as easy as breathing. Celeste, however, had struggled in the shadow of her sister's success for as long as she could remember, never quite meeting the expectations of her father, and always the object of his disappointed glances. When the two elves came of age, they sat the entrance exam to join their father at the sanctum, to become mentored under his tutelage and scribe ancient texts in the archives. Cressida, to no one's surprise, had passed the exam with overwhelming success. Celeste, on the other hand, held true to her long-standing tradition of always being second best. It was rare that one should ever choose to leave their homeland, but never being able to escape the constant overshadowing from her sister, Celeste had decided it was finally time to break free of this tradition. For here, she would always be Cressida's sister, never her own person. But if she were to leave, perhaps she could finally forge her own path. She found her way to the dimension door, stepping through for the first time and finding herself in a land strangely familiar, yet unlike anything she had ever experienced. She boarded the first ship she came across, bound for the kingdom of Gwel, and spent years traveling these oceans between continents, desperate to find something worthy enough to bring home as tribute to her family. Until one day, the news found her. The door that she had stepped through to enter this plane had vanished, along with every other door that could lead her home. Now stuck, seemingly an entire universe between her and her homeland, Celeste is searching for answers, and some miracle that could lead her home again.
Ingwe grew up in an exclusive, reclusive community of druids. His elders, ancient and wise, one of the greatest, his mother, was a great storyteller, and he grew up sharing their stories. While the community has very strict rules and customs and routines, each member is encouraged once in a lifetime to travel out into the world and experience the trials and tribulations, bring back their challenges to share and to tell the story of the world.
And there we are. We should be back, hopefully. Just double checking. I can hear myself and everyone else. Checka, checka, choo. Hopefully.
Boy,
Yep,
yeah.
just double checking. I can hear myself.
D&D.
Boy,
That was very
yeah.
loud. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Monsters and Mayhem, where we try to be as polite to our players and not hurt them in any way possible. We don't roll any natural 20s against them.
On that one.
Or remove any limbs.
Yeah, hang on, just getting in character.
Right.
Yeah, okay. You were saying, sorry.
A few quick announcements. The first one is that we have a lovely Discord where we would love everyone who is watching to drop in. If you're not already there, if you're already there, you're one of the greatest people in the universe. And yeah, it's just a good place to hang out, chill out, sometimes play some D&D, play some other games together, and yeah, be emotional support dogs for everyone else. That's what everyone is, pretty much helping each other.
Or just share photos of our cats, which is
Or
what
food,
it's
yeah.
come into lately. Just every day, I'm like, here's my cat.
Yeah,
Look at them, they're so cute.
there's a lot of pictures of food in there, so if you like food porn, that's definitely a place to go to. But yeah,
I did post a picture of my dinner tonight. Every night I try to upload a picture of my dinner.
Yeah.
it's very relevant.
Very relevant.
Very relevant, but it's all good. Another quick little announcement. I'm just going to change the screen here, so you guys probably won't be able to see. But last week, as part of our recap, you ended up having a fight, and that fight was kind of sponsored by Miniporium.net. So you can't see it at the moment, but I have some pictures on the screen here of some of the kobolds that ended up kicking your ass. And they were models that you can find on Miniporium.net. And we also have some orcs that also contributed to kicking everyone's ass, which is also from Miniporium.
There was a lot of ass kicking brought to you by Miniporium last
There
week.
was. Miniporium sponsored a lot of emotional damage last week.
Damn you, Minotaur. Emotional damage.
Yeah. But I have tried to paint them as well as possible, but obviously you get to paint them yourself a lot better than me. But that is pretty much the start of our day, I think, today. My name is Tom. I'm the producer and Dungeon Master of Monsters and Mayhem. And if you have more dice than scars from childhood, I'm talking about physical, not emotional, because they can see twice, you come to that place. So, let's continue with a little recap. I'm going to put on some music. Hopefully I don't blast my own head off here. Hope that's not too loud. There we go. So, last week, you went to investigate some missing Opeyas, which had seemed to go to a cave to replenish their energy. And then, in that sense, some of the really big ones had been killed or removed or captured, or you weren't quite sure what that was all about. And the head druid had sent you to investigate this cave. And as you arrived, you walked into a bit of a camp. It wasn't so much a trap as it was you sneaking into someone's camp without them really noticing. And then eventually, after some failed stealth checks, you ended up having a very brutal fight. And in that fight, both Celeste and John died. Sean was brought back as undead, and Celeste tried to save him from this curse, and in the process blew off his arm before going down herself and dying. Drekik and Engway was forced to simply run away from the fight, and they managed to do so, and was rejoined by Celeste and John, who had surprisingly enough been resurrected, but at what cost? Sean was still missing his arm, and Celeste had experienced strange side effects during the fight. They were brought back to the Ivory Clasp, where you had tried to heal up and recover, but it didn't seem like there was an easy way to attach John's limb or regrow it. And at the very last, before we left off last time, you went to your tent, and as you were about to bunk down for the night, You had a visitor, which had previously been introduced to you as Baal being Aether, the deity of the Golden Patrons. And now Aether was knocking on your tent and came in with some paperwork. And that's where we left off last time. With you in your tent with Aether.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Drekik is not with us. He is currently...
He is
He's in the
praying.
temple.
He is in the temple praying at the moment. What he's praying for, we don't know yet, but it can be multiple things. It's like good weather, or
It's probably it.
beer.
Yeah, that or save me from these crazy people I've joined.
It's probably on the list. But as we begin, Aether in your tent has a stack of papers under her arm, and she doesn't get to say much more before another individual joins you in the tent. And this individual you've seen before as well. You know him as the Ferryman. He stands next to Aether, and she conjures some chairs in front of you. She sits down. Right, where's the last fella?
Sorry, do you mean... No, not Tam. Our other compatriot.
Yeah, no, Tam's doing the farming thing.
Last I heard, he'd gone to the temple to pray to his god.
Oh.
Gods. Can't keep track.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we can give him a minute or so. I'm a bit
me
busy,
to-
but
Do you want me to summon him?
no, don't worry about it. Just we'll give him a minute or two. And Drekik, what are you praying for currently?
Well, currently, Drekik is praying for... He's trying to figure out what's happening. Because a lot's going through his head, and he's upset because he has to leave his homeland. He's upset because his friends just died and came back. So one of them lost their arm. And he's trying to find answers of whether this is the right path for him to go on now that he's been marked by all the gods, or whether he's supposed to stay and help out his country.
Right. So that is a bit of a prayer.
Yes!
So you sit down and you don't really fold your hands. That's not really part of the Archidron religion, but you sit down and you open your mind and you start praying to your gods. You do not seem to get any immediate response to any of what you say. In the meanwhile, exactly 1 minute has passed in the tent. And Drekik is teleported straight into the tent, onto the floor, still in the process of praying. I did give him a minute.
Huh?
Drekik. That's quite a nifty trick, although I'm assuming it wasn't you, given the look on your face.
Why am
No.
I here?
Sorry, it's rather urgent that we have a conversation with you within very near future.
Oh, well, wonders never cease.
It's all right, Drekik. You belong here. You belong with us.
Yep, I'm getting that impression.
So I'll be clear. None of you really are any of my employees, if you can say it like that. Tam was, but you are obviously not. You're all following your own path, which is admirable. Sad, but admirable. But it's your own choice, after all. I did you a little favor, but unfortunately that favor has also cost me a bit of bad PR upstairs, if you can say it like that. So, I'm going to have to do something that I've been waiting for a long time, but I have brought some contracts here. So, these contracts don't mean that you'll be my employees. Don't worry, I'm not trying to trick you into becoming my faithful servants. I don't need that. However, I do have a stack of flyers that I would love for you to hand out wherever you go about Team Good Force and all the stuff we do and how we help people and how we really try to just engage with the local communities and try to protect them from evil.
Can I see your flyers?
Sure, she summons like imagine a pallet worth of flyers in the middle of your tent. Go right ahead. There's nothing secret about that. I was going to get Tam to do it, but obviously he's busy playing Old MacDonald. So
You run a charity?
a charity? No. So this is more like people in getting the opportunity to get to know me and therefore starting to pray to me. Of course, I'm not going to force any of you four to do it because I know that you two are doing stuff with your electricity god, and this Furbolg doesn't believe in anything, and you are from somewhere different. So it's going to take me a long time to convert any of you, but instead, I know that you are going to either save the world or die trying. So, therefore, why not get someone like you to hand out some flyers for me? I think that's the least you can do now that I've helped you.
I I believe in you.
Not in that way. I don't think I have you on my list. But you're welcome to if you, of course, want to change your mind.
Excuse me. How have you helped us exactly?
Oh, I brought them. I brought them back.
Oh, that was you.
Yes, that was me. I mean, I had a little help from my friend here. You see this long. He looks humanish. He's a little bigger than a normal human. He has really long arms and he has long hair. He doesn't look like he's like super hygienic. He looks like he's probably had a little bit of mud on his face and stuff like that. But he looks friendly, even though he's strange nature. He just doesn't. He just seems a little off. Like you can see that he's definitely not human.
Right. Forgive me. I have no idea who any of you are.
Oh, right. We haven't actually been formally introduced. My name is. Well, I mean, my name was Baal, but that was just a charade, of course. My name is Aether, and this is Casson. I am the part of the Golden Patrons, which are allies to your company that you belong to, as far as I understand. We're going to have a meeting with them very, very soon, to be honest. And yeah, I am the goddess of the sun, and this is the god of the underworld. So, like I said, I had a little bit of help.
Right.
And we definitely
Different
appreciate the help. And
Oh, of course, I'm sure.
The favour, I suppose. So you mentioned a contract.
Right. She gives each of you a contract that says, what's the word? Fuck, I forgot. Consultant.
Like a contractor.
Yeah, it's like an external contractor kind of contract. And basically it says that you are obligated to hand out these flyers whenever you can, and spread the good word of Aether on your way. And the Golden Patrons, which is the whole thing that she's part of. That's pretty much what it says.
Right. So in exchange for our lives, all do you want is for us to spread these flyers as we travel?
Well, I mean, it's a hard sell, but technically, I did something good for someone who didn't believe in me in that sense, and then they signed a contract with me. There is no specific contracts you'd have to sign. I'm just trying to cover my ass. We're gonna have a board meeting later because I did something I wasn't supposed to. As you can understand, that may or may not upset some people, and you know those gods, they're just fucking
Sticklers for the
assholes.
rules.
And you can see her hair just starts turning into like flame when she talks about the gods. And then, sorry about that. I just get a little upset.
Oh, I understand. There's little wiggle room when it comes to those kinds. So I can.
Well, it really depends on how you look at it, to be honest. Like, the gods, they tend to have almighty power, and then they do all these things, and then leave everyone to do whatever they want. And then that's pretty much it. They never interfere. They never try to change anything, really, unless you really upset someone or you really make a good name for yourself. Where the golden patrons, I mean, also the Archidron, I guess, we tend to be more hands-on, which can be a problem for some of those gods, and that's why we're going to have a board meeting in about 5 minutes. Actually, come with me. Come on, let's go for a walk.
Wait, as she's
What?
following
Okay.
Aether out of the tent, is there a time limit to it in which you want these flyers delivered? And there seems to be a lot of them. Is there a...
No, there's no time limit on this. I'm not going to put any more pressure on you. You probably have enough on your plate.
She's just like, got them like stuck to her arm where the pallet just like,
Yeah.
where they all kind of fell at him. Just like, all right, well...
And you notice that's when Ingwe took one, it just immediately replenished.
Oh, fuck.
She opens the tent and she walks out, and you realize you are somewhere else. You are not where you put this tent right now.
There's been a lot of that lately.
And as you come out, you see this. It's like a city. It's beautiful architecture in like, I would say, like Roman style, just to give you a general idea. Tall spikes, which are like towers, and there's like a giant coliseum in the back and stuff like that. But you're on a floating island somewhere in the sky. And you can see a few other individuals walking around. There's some creatures flying around. There's like some golden dragons and stuff like that. But this is definitely not the mortal plane anymore. This is wherever you are.
It's Mount Olympus. That's what it feels like.
Close, but it's the equivalent, let's just say, like that. And she just keeps walking. She just walks on, and he's like, Kazan is following along next to her, and you can see there's other people who walk by, and some of them nod when they see you, and some start talking and stuff like that. And she leads you onto this, looks like a balcony, but there's no end to this balcony. It's just kind of like looks like almost two hooks like this. And then a rock flies up underneath, and then and starts building a bridge into the air. And she just starts walking onto it while it's still doing this. Come on, we don't have a lot of time. I'm almost late now. And it starts building and building, and then it just stops building a bridge, and it starts building like a platform. And this platform is maybe like 80 feet long, maybe 30 feet wide. And up from the ground of that comes what looks to be a very long table of stone. And then chairs sprouts up, also made of like solid stone. The middle of the table goes down a little bit, and then water appears. And then you can see fish floating around inside, swimming, not floating, not dead, swimming around inside the table. And she walks over to one of these chairs, and she says, I have a meeting, obviously, so this is going to have to be very quick. But I'm trying to help you without speeding up the process of what I'm about to do myself. I can't do this again. If any of you ends up dead, you're dead. This was... I can write this off as a mistake. I can't do it if I do it again. I have to follow the rules. And even though I am what I am, I have to at least show some sort of solidarity. But quid pro quo. So if you hand out those flyers for me and you become part of Team Good Force, just like Adam the plan was, then I can maybe meddle a little bit with the truth.
Do we have to call ourselves Team Good Force?
No, just hand out the flyers, and that will have the name on there and the contact number.
What if I don't sign?
Well, hold off on that thought for a few more minutes. Because our guest is about to arrive. And you see, on the other side of this room with these chairs and this large table, another bridge forms, seemingly into, again, nothingness. But then a burst of energy. And you see almost like a portal. And on the other side, you see what looks like a giant hall full of people laughing and drinking, and some of them are fighting. And a group of individuals come out from there. And Sean, you recognize all of these people.
Cool.
Drekik, you haven't seen them before. But those are definitely the gods of Vigar. And as they approach, they sit down on one half of the table. Except for one. One of them, who's he looks like an older man, has a long beard, and he's very strong. But he looks like he's probably in his 50s. Instead of sitting down, he walks around the table and he goes over to Sean. And puts his hand on the shoulder. "Ha, my boy, we meet again."
Bow my head.
Sorry about your arm, but I'm sure you will be the one to save us all. Well,
Thank you.
And
Oh,
you,
you-
Drekik. You. This is Drekik, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Drekik, the Stormlord.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you as well.
Right.
Just tries to do an awkward bow.
Yeah.
Come with me. Both of you two. Sorry. Only members allowed.
Yes, sir.
He pulls
Yes.
both of you
Back.
two with him over to the table, and he forces you all to give a handshake to all the people who just came through. And one by one, you shake the hand of each of the gods. Except one's missing. There's no Ran. But everyone else seems to nod and seem to appreciate you. Some of them give you a little clap on your hand. And yeah, you're now in the presence of a few gods.
It's an honor. Pleasure to be formally acquainted. Sean's being
Okay.
very formal.
Well, I am.
Drekik is just trying to be as straight as he can and as posh as he can this whole time, but it's just coming off as this awkward sort of scenario.
As you shake the hand of the last one, he's like an individual with he's pretty pale. He has long blackish hair, and he has really, really long fingers. He looks very inhuman, but still has a pleasant kind of face. He still looks human in that sense. He gets up. He says, "Well, so you're the famous Drekik that we've all been putting so much faith into." And this is Sean Autumnfall. Well, interesting. My name is Nogmano. If you ever need any help or anything, don't call me.
Understood.
Well, I hope for the best for the lot of you. But there's only really one chance here. You either fail or you don't. I think it's time for us to have a meeting, so sorry if you could move along. Nice
Understood.
meeting you. You can see the Aether is a little irritated by the wording used, but she seems to allow it. And she wavers you over to a small table, just like it's like a coffee table where the contracts again are laying on the contract.
I thought it was going to be like a little kiddies table to the side. Like, these were you
No.
guys sit.
Colouring
The
in
adults are
pen,
over here.
colouring in pencils and like a placemat.
Plastic cups, not large
Yeah.
Christmas metal cups.
No, you're not offered a seat. You're offered to sign the contracts by Aether.
As we're walking over the table, I just go, "Just check your pockets. That was the god of trickery and thieves."
I don't even think our belongings came with us here.
Only what you're really wearing. Everything else is in your tent.
I'd like
Check
them.
what I can.
Nothing seems to be missing, at least for now.
Just mom.
Friends are
They
really
stole.
cool.
Oh wait, no.
Wait, check your pockets. As you said, Mr. Drakic, what if you don't sign? Well, it's a good question. Do you want to not sign now?
I don't know. I'm just wondering what happens if I don't, because I'm already chosen by all of you.
Oh, this
Yes.
is not so much a religious thing as it's more of a work agreement.
Oh,
Considering it's a basic job, you hand out flyers, and I don't get to have to kill you for what I did.
in that case, that makes sense.
Right, then we're all on the same page once again. Wonderful.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So, from what I understand about these things, they're like a deal between. Are you god? You're the goddess of light. Is that what you're saying?
The word God is a little infuriating for me. It makes me a little angry. However, I understand from your mortal perspective that you don't know better.
Well, I'm trying to work it out.
However.
Are you like Vatex? Are you like?
That little shit is nowhere near what I am. If I see him again, I will kick him into the sun again.
You kicked him into the sun? That's
Yes.
cool.
When we first met, he didn't have a lot of hair afterwards. Anyway, no. How can I explain this? So, it's like when you go to school and you have like a headmaster, and then there's the dean who's in charge of everything. So the dean in charge of everything is me, but all the other guards are below me. But obviously, you don't know so. But everyone in my little group of, how should I say, friends, we're all deans, where everyone else is not deans. They're just the janitor. Does that make sense?
No. But I am just struggling with a loud noise in the background. It's quite distracting.
Put that down, Nogma.
I
Just playing with a fish.
and you notice Ingwei, when she like gets upset at Vartex, takes his medallion and then like hides it behind his back and like sneaks it like down his underpants. Like
Okay.
real...
Make a sleight of hand.
No, like
Slide
real
of crack check.
not slight or like he is like clearly
I said it was Easter, not Keister.
they can see everything. But I promised to do everything I can to protect him. So I think I'm fulfilling my promise
That's
by
fine.
putting him
She's
far
not
away
really,
from the sun.
She's not really looking for that, so it's not really.
Yeah.
It's just awkward behavior, and everyone around you that knows are like, what the fuck?
So, you have are making a deal with Mr. John because you brought him back to life, and you're making a deal with Miss Celeste because you brought her back to life. I these flyers seem pretty cool, and I mean I can see you, so I believe you I believe in you. I think, but you're not making a deal with me, so now does that mean you're in my debt because I'm handing out these flyers? What?
Let me put it this way: if someone came after you, would your friends not protect you?
Maybe depends if I'm still hanging out with them.
Hmm. Let's say you were. Let's say you died and someone really powerful gave you your life back. Don't you
Yes.
think you and your friends would feel that they were grateful and probably would try to make it up for that person who went so far out of their way that they are going to start a war with the other gods in about 5.5 minutes? Oh, 3 minutes now. Just for you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I'm trying to help you with that because can I see like on her clothing or something? I'm looking for her. I'm looking to get her to give me something because she hasn't, in my mind, hasn't given me anything. But I
Right.
don't also. I'm not also trying to like. I'm not trying to get powerful gold
No.
riches. I just want
So,
her to be like, give me a thing in the
right.
same way that I give people things all the time. I'm like,
Right.
give me a thing. So if she's
So,
wearing something that I'm like, how about that?
so she's wearing very, very simple clothes in that sense. She's wearing just a white dress, and she has a necklace that looks like the sun, and she has a belt. That's pretty much it. She has like golden jewelry and stuff like that. That's all she has on her.
So like, I think you should give me something.
Ingwe, I do not think that this is a time to barter with our lives.
Well, I mean, I can also just take one away if that helps.
Oh, you're giving me. Oh, does that mean Mr. John's my servant now? I like that. That's a good gift. Thanks.
What?
See, he's not even allowed to talk if I don't allow him to.
No, anyway, I think this would make us her servants, in a sense.
No,
It's a
I don't
favor.
want you to be my servants. I want you to do me a favor because I gave you a favor.
Yes,
And-
but if we refuse, the threat is no life, right?
Yes, but not from me.
From the other gods.
Yes.
They're
yes.
trying to set they're trying to weigh the scales back in favor
Yes.
of balance.
Uh-huh.
And so in order for her to stand up and protect the decision that she made, we in turn need to rectify the situation on her end by
Right.
delivering her message to the rest of the world in order for her to fight for the decision that she made in order to save us.
Correct. I should have chosen you instead of Tam. He only thinks of women anyway. Well, yes, you're correct. I'm not trying to cheat you. I'm not trying to threaten you, but I am very low on time.
Here,
I'm
and
the
Celeste will walk
contract.
over to the table and sign her name with her usual flourish. Go there.
Does anybody have a pen?
There's one right on the table, right here.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Quill.
Trouble seeing.
Also, technically, I have already given you quite a few jobs, so.
Yes.
Really?
I mean, not you necessarily, but you're also like the golden child. That was probably a pun. But, maybe one day.
We'll fill you in. We'll fill you in, Drekik. Just sign your name there, because I would much rather be breathing air than dirt.
X.
Yes. This is a loophole that I'm investigating. Let's see how deep it goes, but yes.
John goes over and is gonna. All right.
Are you left-handed, John?
Nope.
I was lucky I
He's
said
gonna do his
left.
best to sign with his left hand. It definitely looks a bit janky, and there's moments where like the paper's sliding because he can't like hold it down properly and that. But yeah, eventually finishes, tucks it away.
As soon as you sign these contracts, it just into nothingness.
So remembering that I could probably do it with my mind, Ingwe is going to sign his V.K Incorporated.
Right. That's fair. You still signed it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So I think every one of you have signed. That's perfect. That means I have something to work with. Now, you have to excuse me. Me and the others are going to have a little chat about the future.
Strekic's just gonna go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Why are there only 8?
Well, Ran isn't here.
Why?
He's being breastfed right now.
What?
No, never mind. Just
his
please
mind just got
head
blown.
off.
He's like, what?
Just please head back to your tent, and you'll go back to where you were before. We probably won't see each other again.
Wait, why do we need to go back to where we were? Why don't you just put us where we need to be?
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
True. Good point. I like this one. Jeez.
My brain.
They. Anyway.
She.
But you were Baal before, so.
I can
Anyway.
be anything I want to be.
Exactly.
Oh, one more thing. I do have more jobs for you that we never got to talk about. But
Yeah.
She conjures these 2 envelopes and she gives both of them to Celeste. Have a look at it whenever you have time. Anyway, I have to go to my meeting now.
Right, well, good luck and thank you for fighting for our cause.
Well, good luck to you too. Hopefully you won't die. Well, we'll see.
If you do, I'll put in a good word for you on the other side. It's a win-win.
Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully I won't need it.
Right, well, back to the tent then. Good luck. She'll just give like an awkward to the rest of the guys at the table and turn around and skedaddle back across the bridge.
She goes over and sits at the end of the table. It's a very wide bridge as well. Like, it's like really, really wide. Like you'd have to go to the edge specifically to look down if you wanted to. So, but Aether goes to the end of the table and she rings a little bell and then she sits down and they start talking as you walk away. And as you walk further and further away, it starts becoming muffled and you can't really hear any words anymore.
Today's been a very long day. Starting to lose track of the amount of contracts that we've signed.
Yep. We just signed one to get on an airship too, right?
Right. The initial ones with Baal, who we now understand as Aether, Vartex, the airship, now this one with the actual Aether. Yes, a few.
I have spent my life living in a tent, fighting one war. I meet you guys for a week.
Well, those are the prophecy, my friend.
Are we
Welcome
supposed
to
to be somewhere at 11:30?
I don't think that time
It's the next day.
exists.
So you still had one more day, and 11 you were taking off the next morning.
No, at the nighttime, the other job that we had instead of the cave job.
Well, if that one were to end in fisticuffs, as the previous one did, I think I'm going to need rest. So we could potentially look at that one tomorrow night. Because I am exhausted.
I am also exhausted.
John is like actively listening, but he is just scanning the landscape of this place until he leaves, type thing.
Make a perception check.
Not good, but lucky Jean's got good modifiers. 11.
It's beautiful, made in sandstone, most of this. It's all decorated with gold. You don't really see silver or any metal anywhere. It's all decorated in gold and such. Like I said, you do see golden dragon flying around every now and then and such.
Sonos.
Well, it's a lot bigger than Sonos was. You see a lot of these. You see a lot of individuals. You don't see any weapons. You don't see any kind of defense mechanisms or anything like that. It looks more like this is a place of peace.
Okay.
At least from what you can see where you are.
And turning back to our group and seeing the weapons, mostly that myself and Drekig have on us, but between the group, just like, Let's get back. Oh, we want to rest.
Ron's a baby?
Can I, as we're kind of actually the whole time have been, I want to try and figure out who this place belongs to, and if it's only the gods in the golden company, golden patrons, or if it's like I want to try and get a sense of what this realm is.
Make a history check. So, religion isn't really necessarily your strong suit. You probably would have heard stories.
The study of religion is history. 19.
That's pretty good. You do know that most gods aren't part of a group of gods.
Yes.
It's more like a singular god, and they have their own realm somewhere. But the Golden Patrons and the Archidron, actually, both of those two are very unique because they are technically not gods. They are the Titans, which in some cases can be stronger than gods. That's maybe why Aether is so angry. But they have their own individual mini demi-plane, if you can say it like that. So Veigar, where the other came from, has their own little demi-plane with the afterlife, and this is belonging to the Golden Patrons solely.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Cool.
So if we continue walking, I'm assuming that we'll come across just our tent in the middle of like a
it's just
stone
standing
square
in the floor.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's just standing into the stone or whatever.
Looks so out of place, just this like
It's like the
tent.
only thing there not tan colored with gold, and it's like green and brown.
Also, is there random stuff that I can pick up? Like, I'm not trying to steal shit, but I'm trying to I'm always picking stuff up. Like, is there stones, or is there and there's no animals, there's no...
Everything seems to be almost just like chiseled into whatever they are now. There's no wear and tear over the time where usually like little rubble and stuff would come. There's nothing like that. It's just like a perfect image of how a city like that would look like if it never aged, if it never broke.
Yes, and no creatures?
Not where you are, at least.
I will burn a spell slot as we're walking to locate animals or plants to sense within 5 miles.
Well, it's definitely plants and animals within 5 miles. You can see most of these animals, they give off a different aura than normal.
Yes.
They aren't like, if you saw anything on the mortal plane, you would definitely see a certain type of aura, but this is different. This is a little bit more like it's cast a divination spell on it. It's like it's been blessed or something like that almost.
Yeah.
There's cats and dogs and all those normal creatures that you find. There's birds too, but they just have a different vibe.
Yes, but we can't see.
You can't really see them, no, not from where you are. You're pretty much on the tourist path right now.
And we have been allowed to walk.
You're told to go back to your tent.
But I want to meet a tree. Yeah, okay. When we get back to the tent, I will go last.
Right.
And not go in and try and find a tree.
Okay. We will.
The nearest tree.
So everyone else is going into the tent.
I was originally going to say that Celeste is going to rush everyone through, but if Ingwe is not going, then she's just going to. She's exhausted and she's past the point of arguing.
I'll just be a minute. I know that, and I know how far away the nearest tree is.
Yeah.
Wait, did you realize that if once we go through, we cannot come back?
Exactly.
So if we go through and something happens to you, you are stuck here.
Oh, just hang here for a minute then. I'll run. And I will go and try and find the nearest tree.
Right. So you know there's a tree about 250 feet further in towards. So best way I can describe it is that you were kind of on this little. It's kind of like like a dock, and then you're kind of following that around to where the bridge started falling. But if you're going straight towards the city instead, through the large open gates, there is a tree somewhere in there, 250 meters. No, meters, not feet.
And the sense that they're different, but they look the same.
It still has a bit of a different vibe, like a radiant kind of vibe, but it still gives off the feeling of a tree.
Wow, you just look like a normal tree.
It looks like an oak tree, but it has like these long branches going all the way over it, and there's not a lot of color on it, but the leaves themselves don't seem like they would probably fall off. It seems like they just stay on there permanently, and it has this like orangey kind of color. And you can see that when the sunlight kind of hits it, it kind of just gives off this shiny glare, almost like gold.
And below it, is there like leaf litter and twigs and stuff like a normal? So it's still there's.
Just looks like it's kind of frozen in time. And again, everything here is tiles.
Yes.
Everything here is like chiseled tiles, and this tree just goes. The roots just goes into the ground through these things. It's like it's just been chiseled around them.
I don't know if you can talk or anything, but I just really like to take something from this place. I'm gonna reach up and try and break off a twig.
All right.
And then run.
Break off a twig with a leaf or just a twig?
Yeah, like a little like.
Right. Yep. You break off a twig.
And then run. Like I Celeste might be.
Right. You feel the urgency and you run towards the tent. And as you enter the tent, you're back to where you were before. In the tent, but somewhere else. You can feel it is a little cooler here than it was where you just were. But you're all back together in the tent.
And I still have the twig?
Yes. You do.
Celeste is going to kind of poke her head outside of the tent again and look around and look up and try to determine kind of like what time of day it is and if time has passed since they left and if there are still like people out on the street or if it's like dead of night now, just to try to get a sense of like time passing.
So when you came back, it was around 9-ish, I think, in the evening. It was getting pretty late. So at this point, it's probably around almost like 10. It hasn't really, a lot of time hasn't passed since you arrived here. You pretty much only, it feels like for you that you've been gone for like 5 minutes, but in reality, you might only have missed a few seconds because of, again, interplanar travel is a little funny.
Is there a lot of room in the tent now with all of those pamphlets?
Yeah, still plenty of room. It's a pretty large tent, to be honest. Like,
it's like a Weasley tent.
I mean, like you can comfortably stand in the tent. I would say there can probably be maybe 20 people standing in the tent. So it's fairly big. Now that this thing is in the way. You could probably fit maybe half that. But it's still fairly big for like a tent.
Oh, good, Miss Celeste. You got a bit of privacy now. Before it was very.
This is
Open.
privacy screen.
I mean, I can still see Mr. John. Oh. Oh, I'm in your spot. Oh, sorry.
All right.
Well, I definitely need to sleep after the events of today. I feel as though it's been a lifetime since we woke up.
Krekik's gonna grab a bunch of flyers and just go, I'm off for a drink.
Goes back up.
Are we gonna
Walk out of the tent.
I might rest for a bit and then go and watch what happens at that place. And I promise I won't. Or should we not? Just watching and be alright, right?
Unless they see you. Unless whatever it is sees you and sees you as a threat.
They probably won't. Maybe.
I mean, we can go and do it tomorrow night. There was no urgency to do it tonight.
But he just wanted to know what they were, right? We didn't have to follow them or kill them or anything.
I think we had to stop the act from happening from memory.
I thought he just wanted to know if it was like someone sleeping with someone's wife or if it was like a spy.
Yeah, they
He just wanted to
didn't.
know.
They didn't really know what was going on, but they wanted you to find out what's actually going on. If they're doing anything bad, to stop
Right.
it in progress, and then
Yeah,
kill
stop
them.
it. But yeah. But
Maybe we can just watch from afar tonight and then go more in depth tomorrow.
Well, I've only got. I mean, if it comes down to it, I do not have a lot of energy left.
Nah, you. How
Neither
about
do I.
Miss Celeste? You died today, and Mr. John, you died too. How about you guys just have a sleep, and I'll go hang out like as an animal or something, and just chill, and not even just chill, and then if anything happens, I'll run to the guards and be like, ah, and because we're working for them, so I won't follow anyone by myself because I'll have the guard guy there, and I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna be there, and then I'll just watch, and then
Ingwe, there's those guards that see just through disguises.
yeah,
all
that's
over.
what I'm talking about. I'll talk to him and be
Yeah,
like,
but-
hey,
Wouldn't they immediately see you as an animal walking around the city,
yes,
stop you?
no, because the guy with the cat, what was his name? Mr. I'm searching for actual help from Tom here. Who was the guy that told us the job? Wilden.
Coruscant?
Coruscant. There's another
Coruscant.
Coruscant. Oh no, the Carson is the god. Okay. Yeah. So I checked with Coruscant because he said that he would let the guards know that it was our job to be not animals. So I'll talk to them first and say, hey, I'm just gonna chill as a cat here, and don't put me in jail.
Gray, as much as I admire your tenacity and your dedication to this, there are a couple of things that cross my mind which say it might not be a good idea for you to go alone. And number one, things tend to go awry, and if we're not together, then it could prove a problem. Second of which, if they do happen to see you or get suspicious, then when we actually go to do the thing we're going to do tomorrow, they may not follow through with it if they believe that they are being watched.
Cool. Okay, no worries.
And I am just petrified that something will happen and we will not be able to get to you in time after the events of today. I'm quite trepidatious about anything that might put us into immediate danger, especially if we are not to be together. Like this job, for instance, we're going to do today. We were just going to go and find some animals and find what happened, and then it all went to hell.
Okay.
That happened, yeah.
Well,
Officially.
Ingwe, do you want to come help me hand out these flyers in the tavern, and then we'll just come back and start sleeping?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I
Been a long
promise
day.
not to go and see the people at the place.
Yes,
Thank you,
I
Ingwe.
promise to hand out these flyers. All right.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys when you return, I guess.
Right.
And Ingwe visibly uncomfortable because he had tried to lie and now he's promised, so he can't go and do what he was planning on doing, which was
All right. So the two of you are napping.
Before going to bed, after a few moments, Jean would just turn towards Celeste and just go, "The head. Next time something undead comes for you, take off the head."
That's what I was
Not the
trying to
arm.
do, but it blew off. Well, see, what I was trying. I had my thumbs in your eyes, but I was trying to do that.
Good. I just appreciate that you stopped me from living on in that way. So I'm sorry I was a
awfully
bit
sorry.
upset. No, I'd rather this than that. I look at it that way. I'm sorry I was mad about it earlier, but considering what it could have been, this is definitely the preferred circumstance. So thank you, I guess.
I won't make any promises, but I may know of a way sometime in the future. Maybe I have to put things right.
If it's a long shot, I don't even want to think about it. So I'm gonna hit the hay so I can get an early morning rise. I want to try something out.
Right.
Yeah. And Jean's just gonna roll into his bed pretty much as he is. Just he pretends to be asleep probably for the first hour or so, but really he's like terrified of closing his eyes, having just died.
Well,
And,
while he's like pretending to be asleep, would Celeste know that he's pretending? Like, does she know the difference between like Jean's actual deep breathing / snoring / whatever?
Yes, that's the deception insight check thing.
Insight. I don't have great insight. Dirty 20 for insight. 16 plus 4.
Mine's a natural 20. Let's see what my bonus is. +1, 21.
Wow, difference of 1. Yeah, I mean, he's not sleeping than normal, but he also just died. So maybe that's just like post-mortem sleep.
Right, well,
Really.
if she thinks that he's asleep, she's going to pull out her pan flutes, and kind of covering the end of them so that it sounds kind of like muffled, as not to wake him. And it only works for a short rest, but she's going to do it for a longer rest. And essentially, what she's trying to do is play a song of rest, so that it hopefully, if just stops him having any sort of like nightmares or things like that, like just a gentle kind of fade tune to hopefully drive away any of the
Okay.
things that come for him.
So eventually, when you do fall asleep, you will fall asleep and have pleasant dreams, and no nightmares or any trauma, any lingering side effects of PTSD or anything like that. Are you doing anything for that time before you fall asleep? Or are you just laying there thinking?
He's just laying there thinking, just
Right.
bouncing between a million thoughts in his brain. But yeah, basically the deeper and better he sleeps, the louder the snoring. For sure.
I think you earned that. Yep. Right. So the two of you are eventually going to have how long of a sleep? A short rest or a long rest?
Long rest.
Long rest.
Right.
But Jean's hoping to try. I mean, how do you set alarms and all that in this time, I guess. But he's hoping to try get up about an hour before everyone else would get up.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So you would get up early in the morning then, if you're sleeping now. So the two of you would definitely get up earlier than everyone else for sure now. Celeste only needs 4 hours of sleep anyway, so.
Well, Celeste will probably stay awake. She'll like play for 45 minutes or so until she's kind of. She thinks that John is in a deep enough sleep, and then she'll go back to writing her ballad that she was doing, and then I'm hoping, maybe passive perception, that when she hears Ingwe and Drekit coming back to the tent, that's when she'll roll over and blanket over her head and kind of.
Right. Yeah, that's the easy part when you only have 4 hours of sleep that you need. Very well. Ingwe and Drekit, what are you two going to do?
I've never been a cleric. Can you teach me how to be a cleric, Mr. Drekit? Because I thought I was a wizard, and they said that I wasn't, but now I'm a cleric, so that's great.
What?
Well, we're clerics for the Patreon gods, right? We just signed up to be cleric. I just signed a piece of paper.
Oh, I don't think that's becoming a cleric. I think that's just accepting another job.
From the gods. That's what clerics do, right?
No.
Or is that what warlocks do? Am I a warlock?
I think that's what warlocks do. I don't know a warlock personally.
I don't want to be a warlock.
I think that's what warlocks do. I mean, you've told me stories about Tam. I think that's what he did, right?
Made a deal.
Yeah.
So to be clerics, you have to. But we're not.
Did we just become warlocks?
I think.
Eldritch Blast for everyone!
I think they were pretty clear that we didn't have to. It was just a deal thing, and we had to believe. Believing was the cleric thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. My gods were there. We couldn't have become warlocks because
our
they
gods
would have been not happy with it.
Our gods.
Well, at least my gods. What are they? Your gods too?
They are now.
Oh, good.
But I don't know how to do it. So can you teach me what do you have to do to be a good cleric?
Have a drink.
I don't like drinking. Okay.
Look, I started drinking. I guess John had some drinks. I guess we gotta start you drinking.
I did that. I did it a couple of times. It makes you sick. But if that's what it means to be a cleric, being sick all the time.
Well, first up, I figure because we have a job to do, and we're right here, we might as well hand out a few of these pamphlets straight away. Put in a good impression.
Sure.
New client and all that.
Should we split up?
Sure. Just takes half the pamphlets I picked up and give them to Ingwe. It's like,
Oh yeah. Okay.
How do you wanna? I was thinking we go via the inn. I pick up my keg, and then I've got something to drink as we're walking around handing out these pamphlets. You see?
No, I promised. I promised that we wouldn't go. We would only go to the pub. So,
Oh, right. Okay.
I only want to talk to the.
We
I'll
can
talk
stay
to
in
the
the
people
pub.
on the way to the pub, and then talk, and then you go straight to the pub, and then I'll talk to any people that you haven't seen on the way.
Should we go knocking on the tents? I mean, there's a few of them around.
No.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior?
No.
You hear a rumble in the back of your head when you say that.
I will. Oh no! Yeah, I'll meet you there in a minute. I can see about 9 people out.
All right.
And I'm assuming there's not lots of people.
Not at this time, no. I mean, there's some people here and there, especially around the tavern. But other than that, it's pretty just like an evening. Like most people are in their houses or doing stuff.
Great.
Right,
when I say I'm can see 9 people, I can see 3 trees and 4 mice.
2 cows.
2 cows. So that's the people that I'm talking to on the way.
But
okay, you go hand it to those people. I'll go inside. Okay, how about you handle outside? I'll handle inside.
Have you heard about the golden? What's? Yeah.
It's like practicing in front of the mirror.
No, I'm
It's a
talking
tree.
to the tree, and the tree can understand me. Just to remind you, DM, but I can't understand the tree, but the tree absolutely knows that I'm talking to him about these random gods.
Well, I am sorry, dude, but I
That's right. I
kind
can't
of believe a
understand the
little
tree.
bit. Oh, no.
The tree can understand me.
Well, we're talking to tree. Drekik, you're going into the tavern to.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, is this the Howling or the Kraga's Inn?
The one where my beer is being held.
So that would be in Kraga's Inn.
Yeah.
That's where the giant is.
Yeah.
Right. As you come in, once again, you notice a very large figure behind a very large counter. Hey,
Hey,
little man.
how we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, A little bit of alcohol and everything is all good, eh?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna finish mine off tonight. Had a rough day.
Right. Well, good luck with that. It's gonna take you a while to get to the bottom of this clue.
Oh, it's gonna take me a while to get to the bottom of these thoughts, that's for sure.
Well,
Oh, actually,
yes.
I have this pile of pamphlets that I now have to hand out everywhere, apparently, because handing these out somehow saves my friends' lives. Can I place them in
grabs
here
one.
somewhere?
He puts on his very large glasses. Oh, it's like a cult.
Why do you have things on your eyes?
So I can see the tiny writing from your tiny hands.
What?
He takes them off and he flips them around, and he puts them in front of your head, and you can just see these massive glasses. To just kind of. I don't think they would really work for you. They just make everything more blurry. Because they're large and stuff. But
I'm wondering if I can roll a check to see if they're just a giant thing or not.
you can try.
Intelligence check is a nat 20. So.
No, you think of it. You have seen people wear some of these. Most of them have colors in them and they look fancy, but this one looks like it's actually doing something with the distance. And it reminds you a little bit of the thing that Celeste has, actually. She has like a thingy that can do things.
These are like mini telescopes that you put on your eyes.
I imagine it's mini. I imagine it's like the lens is like this big.
Also, he's trying to read something that's close.
Yep.
But close for him is like meters.
Yeah.
So it like for you it'd just be like looking into like a pot of misty water.
Yeah. Oh, you're just putting telescopes on your eyes. Oh. I know that trick.
Puts it away. Well, if it helps you and your friends, you're welcome to leave some of them here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's
No
greatly
worries.
appreciated.
He takes a little pile and just puts it at the end of the table.
Right.
Well,
Excellent.
happy to help.
Thank you, sir. Anyway, I think I'm going to take my alcohol back to my tent.
Hey,
Hold
Mr.
that. Oh,
Drekik.
hey, Ingwe, how are you doing?
Oh,
Was
it's
good.
a little fur man.
I told everyone about the good force and stuff, and now we're here. Should we talk to? Is there people here we should talk to?
No, they've just we're just putting the flyers on the bar here for people to grab. I think that's about all we can do for now. So
He puts a little, how should I say, a little bowl of peanuts on top of it, so it doesn't fly away.
thank you.
No worries.
Well, should we get to this drinking thing?
Yes.
Do you want that special drink again, little fur man? Just be careful. You can get addictive.
No, I think I've become a cleric, so I think I'm gonna help Mr. Drekik with his one.
Oh, all right. Good luck then.
I don't know
Penny. Penny, they're here for the drinks. You see this air genasi flying out and grabbing the keg. Where do you want to sit today, sir?
I guess we'll just sit over here for now.
Right, and she flies with you, and this keg. You see that she's not really lifting it because she probably wouldn't be able to with her tiny little arms, but she's kind of lifting it using the same kind of velocity force that she's using to fly across the floor. And she places it on the table. Just let me know if there's anything else you want.
Thank you.
Oh, good. And she darts back off.
Right. Well, Ingwe, I'll have you know, I studied religious arts many years before I was granted gifts from the gods. Right, so I don't exactly know how to take it on fast. All I know is that it all started out in my young days when I was introduced to alcohol. So, perhaps we'll start by introducing you to alcohol and see if you like that. And if you do, we can continue. And if you don't, then maybe the cleric path is not for you. Does that make sense?
Yep. I mean, I already know that I don't like it, but yeah, let's do it.
All right. Pours 2 cups. Cheers.
Right. As far as I remember, it's been a while since Ingwe had any alcohol to drink. So I think I need you to make a constitution save.
Ooh. Very high roll.
5?
No, I rolled a 15. I'm just...
Oh.
And that is +1 because I have a ring of protection.
I don't know if that what the inventor had in mind when he made it, but yeah. Yeah, you actually seem to manage it pretty well this time. Maybe it was the very strange and strong alcohol that you had last time, wink wink. But you're definitely starting to get more accustomed to it now.
Right. How'd that go?
Yeah, it's an interesting flavor. And I think unless Norocto has any specific conversation that we want to have, I think we'll Ingrid's pretty keen to get blind drunk and rambly drunk. Yeah. And then probably also use this opportunity to in very long details that have lots of details that aren't important, the shape of the horse and how fast we walked and exactly how long it took. Because Ingwe is quite perceptive and so a lot of information just slowly getting longer and longer, and then wow. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm drinking 2 for every one of Ingwe's.
But eventually you do end up getting fairly drunk as well, because you're drinking double as much at the time. But you both seem to be a bit alcoholized, if you can say it like this. If you were a knife and fork or any kind of operational instrument, you would definitely be sterile by now. But yes.
After quite a number of rambling sessions and stuff, anyway, I think we've learned enough for one evening. I think we need to go back to the tent.
Okay.
Before we start sleeping here.
Very well.
Wait, check this out. Wait, no, let's go outside.
Okay.
Penny puts the rest of the keg back with half of its contents still intact.
Yeah.
And I'll
cake this whole time.
Pull out my things to ride and then turn into a direwolf to ride us back to the tent really fast.
Right.
So cool.
Make a. This
I'm
is an
going to try
interesting one.
climbing onto the
How the
dial
hell?
to go on that as well after he transforms.
Ingwe, make a dexterity check with disadvantage. And Drekik, make a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay, 6 plus perception, 6, 12.
12 with disadvantage. Yep. And Ingwe, what did you get?
3.
3. Right. So you managed to get up fairly fine, and he runs straight into one of the posts outside of the house. Smack! But you don't even see him running into the post because you are suddenly airborne. And you notice that you can fly. But then gravity kicks in.
I'm a dragon.
And you a little bit across some of the small rocks and various different types of dirt and sand, whatever has gathered there, and you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
But you manage to move 1.5 meters outside of the tavern.
Ingwe,
I
you
would.
have the flight spell.
Oh yeah. I can't talk anymore because.
Just stumbling dial.
People look a little bit funny. There's a few people on the street, but considering that they both look like they're drunk and you're accompanying each other, they don't seem to be scared, but very confused why there's a giant ass fucking drunk wolf in the middle of the street.
I guess we'll make our way back to the tent eventually.
We're gonna be quiet because they're sleeping. They died today. Some respect.
Clerics always show respect to the dead. Yeah, Celeste, with your passive perception, you'll probably hear us.
I was gonna say.
I'm not even gonna let you roll for that. You are definitely waking everyone up slightly. I mean, I guess Sean is in deep sleep now because
I'm going to sleep in John's spot.
but he's already sleeping there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm back. Okay.
How's that gonna work? You're gonna crawl into his bed,
Yes.
into his one-man bed, and
100%.
sleep next to him.
Yes.
Okay.
John is a little spoon, just curled up, facing away.
Eventually, you will end up sleeping in one bed or another. And do you continue playing the song as well, or do you just pretend like you're falling asleep as soon as they arrive?
Oh, as soon as Celeste heard them leave the tavern, she was rolled over, kind of covers up over her head, lights out.
Right. All good. Well, eventually, you all go to bed and you all end up getting a long rest, and you can click the buttons.
Click the button. Click.
I'm like Trom, like I have to get the confirmation from
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
to
yeah.
press the button.
Well, I mean, yeah. Before I say click the button, yeah. No.
I was about to do it before this session. I was like, hang on, wait, we haven't actually.
No.
Yeah.
No. But you managed
Look
to
at all
do
these beautiful spell slots back.
It's been a while. You all get a good night's sleep. So I'd say that Sean, you can wake up earliest because you went to bed earliest, and even though Celeste only needs 4 hours of sleep, you also stayed up pretty much until the very end.
Celeste is the last one awake.
Yeah,
anyway,
she
ever.
gets up at 1 anyway.
Yeah. She doesn't get up until someone tells her to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you need for sleep versus what you want for sleep are two separate things.
Yeah. That is the dream. You eventually end up waking up pretty early. I think it's probably going to be around 8 in the morning because you went to bed fairly early. It was only like 10 or so.
Yeah.
And you notice that Ingrid's in your bed and he smells like he's just like drunk. You can smell that he has probably been in the tavern, and he smells like one of those people who sleeps on like benches underneath the subways and the that kind of stuff. They have a very distinguished smell sometimes when they've had a little bit too much.
Sort of like confused and not sure what to say at first, but after a moment, just gently lift his hand, roll out towards the bottom of the bed, drop it down, just pull the blanket back up. Yeah, whatever. I've done it before. I get it. Gonna head outside. Jean's gonna go. He's gonna go see. Are there any places open that are like selling food or anything like that?
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
entire market of the Eindark markets, they start at 6 in the morning.
Okay.
So you would already smell fresh baked bread and that kind of stuff in here.
Yeah. Jean's gonna go and he's gonna collect a few different things. And he's gonna see if he can collect some like rice, some sort of pork or some of the meats like similar, something like that, and a few other like spices and ingredients to sort of mix it up, and some eggs if possible.
Yeah, no problem. All that is ordinary items that you can easily find in most marketplaces.
Sweet, sweet.
I'd say you probably spend a gold in total on it.
Gold,
Some
easy.
of the spices are maybe a little harder to get in this area.
Yeah.
You stand there and you kind of purchase these things and stuff, and you notice this little white dot hit you on the nose, and then another one on your cheek. You can see that it's starting to snow.
I was gonna say Jean would be very familiar with this feeling.
It's already fairly cold here. It's not like this is a warm area. It's just windy, but not covered in snow. But it seems like winter is coming closer.
I'm glad I got some spicy stuff that'll warm us up in the morning. He's going to go back between shops, and that he's also would have pulled out the little prayer book that Drakic gave him and been sort of like reading that as he's walking to the shops, just keeping an eye around and just trying to get a little bit of a better understanding and trying to memorize the names of the gods, especially after he just been introduced to them and that. Right. When he gets back, he's gonna attempt to try and make like some little sort of like wrapped up snacks. So he's gonna basically make like some meat, cook it up nice. With some spices and that, and then compact the rice around it to try hold it together. And then if he was able to find anything like rice paper or I don't know, something to that extent, basically just to hold it together. You're like a leaf, edible leaf or something.
Yeah, no problem. You can definitely find something similar to that. There's some very thin bread that you could potentially use as well.
Yeah, sweet.
Like a wrap.
And he's gonna do that in the morning. Once he's done, he's gonna make sort of 3 of them, and then once he thinks everyone's slept enough, go around, himself even still waking up a bit, and just gently shake them.
Yeah, no problem. It takes you a little longer to do this because you unfortunately only has one hand right now. But you have mastered making these in your sleep because you have done these before a million times. So you know how to do it, and even though it's complicated and a little irritating, you can definitely get it done, and you don't feel fine about obviously the loss of your arm, but you feel like it's not the end of the world, at least in that moment.
Yeah, Jean's very much got the approach I feel of like other people in the world are in this situation. He's just added to that, so he's just going to do the best of what he can with it.
Yes.
He's going to slowly wake people up and just be like, I made breakfast. If you want it while it's warm, you might want to get up now. It's going to be a cold day, I think. Snow's just starting to set in.
I haven't had that much to drink in a while.
I could smell it on the both of you.
Ingwe, are you alright?
This is what happened last time.
Do you feel like a cleric yet? Is it working?
Man, being a cleric sucks. Come on.
Celeste goes over to the mouth of the tent and starts like waving it.
Yeah, it smells a little uncomfortable in there. And as you do that, you can also see that Mana is on the way towards you, because you haven't seen her since you left.
No.
But you eventually arrive at the tent as well. Oh, good morning, Celeste. How are you?
Good morning, Mana. Very tired and sore.
Oh, did it go well? Did you?
No, frightfully awfully.
Oh. Okay, well, I hope that you're all okay. Sean, what happened to your arm?
Oh, hey, Mana.
Oh no.
Yeah. I won't get into the details of it, but something occurred yesterday, and let's
Why?
just say I'm thankful it's as well a state as it in.
She rushes over to Sean and she starts looking at his arm like, "Excuse me, may I?"
Go ahead.
And you can see she also is missing an arm. She has a mechanical arm,
No.
but hers seems to function pretty well. She's just kind of looking at where the wound is and such. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sean. I lost mine when I was a child. A wolf got me before my mother could save me. Um, there is ways to deal with such things, or very high powered spells that can deal with it. But I'll I would like to look into it for you if that's okay.
You don't have to. I appreciate it, but you do with your time as you see fit.
Well, you've done all this for me, so it's hardly a problem.
Well, all right then. I like your fancy one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when it doesn't get stuck in his sand. But other than that, she gives you a big hug. I mean, a small hug considering she's a freaking goblin, but
He returns. I'll be completely honest with you. The events of yesterday, I kind of forgot you were with us for a bit.
I've just been trying to catch up on some sleep and protecting this thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who here I would even be able to look at without them being able to read my brain. So.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it is much appreciated. I just made breakfast for everyone, but I'm afraid I didn't quite make enough.
Oh, don't worry. I'll eat
everyone.
She can have mine, John. I don't eat in the mornings anyway.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I already eaten. I had some of the wonderful Kragas in breakfast. A lot of scrambled eggs and way too big plates, especially for me.
I'll have Miss Celeste if it's going.
If you feel the need for it, I've tried a few new things just because I had to, figure out some new techniques and that. So I'm hoping it's all good. Let me know how you're going with it. It should last the day for the most part if you want to hold on to it for later, but otherwise, if you want anyways, it seems hungry today, so
if it will last, I'd like to have it for lunch or something.
Sure.
But if you wanted more food, Ingwe, we still have our leftover meals from yesterday.
Oh.
At the inn as well, should you want more food.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. I just felt like food this morning. I haven't really been eating before I became a cleric. Ingwe probably hasn't eaten any food like that you guys have eaten for a week.
At that moment, Sean's like, "Oh, shit, Ingwe, I feel terrible. I made that with pork inside."
Yeah, I can taste it. It's lovely.
Oh,
Mana, have you heard about our savior?
What's this?
We don't need to call her our savior.
But she saved out and she resurrected us to new life.
You're right. It's not our savior, your savior.
Yeah, everyone's savior. Oh no, it's just it's just theirs. It's not even my savior.
Them, really.
Oh, okay.
Has she saved other people? Do we know that?
Probably.
Assumedly.
Thank you. I'll keep it on me as a Sherry's treasure. Are you all okay? Are you up for leaving? Is
my head hurts.
Right? Well, you look like your head hurts. No offense.
Definitely up for leaving. Tomorrow, correct? 10 a.m.
Yes, correct.
No.
Yes, I am. I'll be glad to get back to at least someplace familiar.
Yes, me too.
I'm keen also for a day off. Bit of relaxation today. Rest the bones.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I mean, you can have a look around town. Whatever you are up to, I mean, I'm just gonna keep this thing safe and try to stay out of anyone's way. I think at this point, I'm just nervous because it's so close to getting back, and I just don't want anything bad to happen. But at the same time, I feel like this is a quite safe place, to be honest. I'm not quite sure if I'm wrong.
We
Shouldn't
saw
we
something
find
with
out
some
what
of the
happened to-
guards.
Sorry,
Nope.
what?
No, go for Dreki.
No, I'm just saying, shouldn't we find out what happened at the cave after the people went, after we came back?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I think just a bit of talking is about the extent of what I'm up for today.
Yeah.
Right.
I would also like to find a bathhouse or something where I can soak.
Agreed.
Well, it should be possible. The Howling has baths. Kraga's Inn isn't really.
They probably have swimming pools.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's a lot of showers there. It smells like it's not the case, at least. But most people also sleep outside, so I guess that.
All right. Yeah.
I am.
Go to the Howling Inn.
I'm gonna go back to the inn, and I'm going to try to look into this thing for you, John. Just because that gives me something to use my brain for, and I might have an idea. But let me have a look at it first. I can't really promise anything. This I don't even know how this came to be, so it's gonna be a challenge.
Well, I appreciate it. If you need me for any of it, just let me know.
Right.
Still figuring out how to swing this thing with my left hand after I drop off my shield. So.
Right. All right. I'm gonna leave you to it. I just wanted to check that you're okay, and obviously you're not okay, but you're here at least. Right.
Alive.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And she kind of bows and scuttles back off to the inn.
Oh, your shield, Mr. John.
Yep.
Did you? Oh, is it still back in the cave?
No, he picked it up.
No, the shield I'd left. I grabbed my axe.
Oh, I thought you said you put your shield in the back. Sorry.
No. I was like, with
Oh.
two on the floor. I was just like, axe, go. Just yeah, because I figured with my hand I'd only be able to grab the one. So I was just like, yeah.
Fair enough.
Which, by the way, whoever had breakfast this morning, you get 3 temporary hit points because your boy took the chef feat.
That makes sense.
Did you take that this time when leveling up?
Yeah, this last
Yeah,
one.
because
This
you're going
last-
on the
yeah,
airboat as a ship.
Yep. I was
Yeah,
like,
because you
I'm
were
either-
telling us it's not a combat feat.
Yep. I was either going
That
chef
is
or
smart.
shield master.
Does that
Good.
mean Ingwe gets 6?
No, because they're temporary, they don't stack. So if you have a second one, it would replace your first one's temporary hit points.
See, if only you've eaten that yesterday when you scraped your face across the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been fine. Anyway. So what is your plan?
What's the first point on the agenda today? Should we go and see the lady at the top of the tower, or should we? I mean, I would like to freshen up, compose
Agreed.
myself.
Look, I think freshening up sounds great. We're still all covered in blood, dirt, and alcohol.
Do look rather grisly.
Tents were pretty well looked after while we were gone, so I'm alright with leaving it as it was. Yeah.
Right. I want to go to the Howling then. And
Yeah.
see if we can find some baths.
Sean's grabbing whatever spare clothes, like just casual clothes he can find to put under his stuff again.
Well,
Yes, Celeste takes her entire bag with her.
Miss Celeste, maybe we could go see Vartex and have some baths there.
No,
Okay.
I don't feel as though I'd like to be in the same vicinity as him.
While you're bathing, yeah. Okay, sure.
Plus, who knows, he may not even have a bath where he is.
Well, it's like that room, right? So I think I can control some of it some of the time if he doesn't. Anyway.
Hey, did anyone else feel at least a bit tempted to release Vartex when she said she'd throw him into the sun?
Very much so.
Yes, but what good would that do?
He'd be in the sun.
But she did say again, which means that there's a high probability that he would return, like a boomerang.
Huh.
Send a
was my thought
flaming
process.
catapult back towards us.
I had the opposite urge, like I wanted to protect him. I'm really struggling with this urge thing.
Sorry, I didn't. Like, obviously, we're supposed to protect him, but like, you can still have an urge that you don't follow up. Like,
Yeah.
you want to do something, but you know you shouldn't.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
Right. Off to the howling. I need to soak these old bones.
Is everyone going to the Howling for a bath, or just you?
Sean's got
Everyone's-
going as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to the bathhouse. I mean, the Howling. It's not really about.
Bathhouse episode.
Hot tub stream!
So you have the option of either going the left way around or the right way around. Which option do you want to take? It's pretty much in the center, so it doesn't matter lengthwise. It's just more what you see on the way.
Left for me.
Left.
Left.
Right. So
Left it is.
as you leave the tent area, you notice. Do you pack the tent or do you take it? Leave it, or do you
Leave
take
it.
it with you? Right.
I
Cool.
took my bag with me.
Yep. There's also people there who are looking after tents and stuff. So
Yeah.
even though they're
Yeah,
not
the little boy.
Great. Yeah. So as you leave, you pass by what's called the Lion's Den, which is where all the people who are trying to train how to be fighters, they kind of live. They have like barracks there. They're not the soldiers. They're not the military, but they're everyone, including the military, who wants to like train and stuff like that. They're like sparring and stuff. And as you pass that way around, you also pass by a very large estate, which also looks to be, I'm not sure who this belongs to, but it definitely looks very fancy for this area. Fancy isn't fancy in sense of if you say you just seem like golden houses and stuff. This is more like it's very well painted and decorated. It's a simple style, but very. There's a lot of effort gone into this building itself, in building it and decorating it, and it looks fancy in that sense. And as you move further around, you see more of these large rocks. Some of them have runes imbued on them. And as you go around the Sovereign Council tower building, you end up at the Howling, where it seems to be more of a normal inn from what you would expect. And you can see there's a lot of halflings around who are like just chatting and having a drink outside on the grass and such. But the Howling itself seems to be full of different types of people from different types of places. And it is definitely open. There's individuals there. It is a 3-story building, which is the only building that you've seen without being a tower that's actually higher than just ground level. So there's some options there, at least for sure. And as you enter, there is a young half-elf woman behind the counter, and she's missing one ear, but she is, other than that, a very beautiful young lady. Hi, how can I help you all?
Morning. We're seeking the use of some baths. We were told to head your
Right.
way.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We have plenty of baths. Is one for each of you? Or?
Are
Yes.
they built individually?
Yeah, we have
Okay.
separate rooms, of course, privacy and everything. Yes, no problem. Yeah, it will be 1 gold each.
What?
It's fine, Drakic, I can chat you.
Thank you.
I might have Mr. John's water after he's finished. Unless
No,
So it looks-
you should have your own. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to get clean if you're going to get
Oh.
dirty first.
Just
On it.
blood all over this side of his body.
Right.
Can-
Would you like a new shirt, sir? We sell shirts as well.
I brought my spares. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Yes, but we'll give you one each. We don't reuse the water. That would give us a bad reputation outside of these walls, especially of an outpost place like this in that sense. Um, would you like anyone to come and help you with your bath, or did you just want to bath yourself?
I'm fine to do it myself, thank you.
Right.
Fine as well.
Right.
Fine, I think.
Well,
I don't. Is it? I don't have any money, so is it extra to get someone to help?
yes, it's an extra gold.
I'll figure it out.
Ingwe, I can shout you as well.
I will like some help, please.
Right, so
Right,
2
so
gold for Ingwe.
2 gold for Ingwe. Right. Do you have any preference? Yeah, male, female.
For help, the most competent bather
Most
you
confident bather. Right. I think I have just the one. I think that Nina is definitely going to help you out.
It's gonna be like an old Italian grandma dunks you in every This is how you
Scrub
like
and
it.
stick.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you want to, if you go to
No,
number
no.
1, 2, 3, and 4, then we will send up the help for you. And then you have an hour from when you close the door.
Right.
Do we have unlimited? Feels like the wrong word, but do we have enough water to fill up the bath multiple times, or would that be extra?
That would be extra. The water is filled up for one use. If you want another, I'm not sure I
Another
understand
gold?
the question.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I figured if once all of this comes off of me, I don't want to sit soaking in it, so I want to get it all off me, get it out, refresh, and then I'm gonna
Right.
just
So
lay there
you
for a
so you
bit.
want 2 baths actually.
Yeah, I guess.
Right. We can definitely do that. We have one of the couples ones where there's 2 of them in there, an extra gold, and then that is perfectly covered as well.
All right, sorted. Here you
Right.
go.
So don't go to number 1, then go to number 7 because that's one of the couple rooms. The other ones are for individuals. No offense.
All right.
Pleasure to do business with you.
Thank you.
Nice. There's a little staircase that goes up to where the rooms start, and you can see, even though the building is several stories, it's not very big in that sense. So it's kind of like you're going up this staircase, and then there's 4 smaller rooms, it seems, and then there's a staircase that goes up, and then there's bigger rooms, and then on top there's even bigger rooms as well. So number 7 would be on the top floor. The other numbers 2, 3, and 4, they would be on the bottom floor.
All right. John heads up.
There you go. So everyone heads into your individual ones. Right, and you can lock the door, no problem there. So the rooms themselves are very simply built out of wood. If you picture like a Western frontier kind of style from like cowboy age, it's kind of basic like that, but it is functional. And the bathtubs are also made of wood, but they have coal and heat underneath, so you can regulate how hot you want the water. Sure, that Celeste would probably want it scalding because female. And yeah, it's a very pleasant warm bath. It's already been prepared for you. There's towels ready and everything, and you can gently slide in and have a bit of relaxation. Anyway, however, you hear a knock on the door not long after you have entered, and you can hear a woman's voice from outside. Hello, sir. This is Nina. I am here for your bath.
Excellent. I'm a bit confused. Thank you. Come in.
So you open the door, and the woman that comes in is not quite what you expected. She is gorgeous. She is extremely beautiful, and she's a Triton. She has long purple hair, and she's wearing very minimalistic clothes, like just a simple dress. but she's extremely beautiful, and she has necklace and like earrings that all kind of give you a little bit of a throwback to the sea. Like the earrings themselves, they have like little waves in them, and her necklace is made out of seashells and stuff like that. Yes. Well, if you want to get undressed and jump into the shower, then I will be able to assist you. And she obviously closes the door.
Ingwe starts undressing himself before she closes the door. Like,
She turns around immediately, obviously.
follows instructions. Yeah, okay. And then oh, it's like bathing. That's why it's called a bath. I get it. I've got it now. Oh, I was so confused. Oh, good. Cool.
So she takes out one of those long scrubbers, and she starts gently starting to help you out, getting you clean. So I'm not going into any of the details, but it is definitely very pleasant. And for you, Ingwe, you get 1 point of inspiration. Yes. The rest of you have a really nice bath, and you feel like time just stops. Yes?
Celeste is going to read the 2 envelopes that Aether gave to them while she's in her bath.
Right.
And she'll also keep prestidigitationing the water.
Smart. Right, well, you definitely have clean water. There's 2 envelopes, and the first one is simply labeled Lightwood. Second one is labeled Lady Keisha Salvatore. Which one would you like to open first?
Lady Keisha Salvatore.
So that one is an invitation to be a entourage/protection for the Salvatore family in La Guerra, which is in the very bottom of the kingdom, which is in Esperanza is where I should say more Spanish-inspired place. It's very far away from where you are now. It's literally at the opposite end of. Let's say if you were in Kronos now, it would be an opposite end, but in the same half. And it is a invitation to be the entourage and protection group during the Winter's Locket Festival, which is taking place over the next few months in that city. It doesn't have a lot of specifications as usual, but it has a contact, which is Lady Keisha Salvatore.
Right. And the Lightwood.
So
No?
Blightwood.
Oh, Blightwood.
Blightwood. So Blightwood is. Let me just open this because computers are slow. So Blightwood. Sorry, I'm just trying to find all my goddamn notes here. So it's pretty much a. It is a request for assistance in disappearances and missing people within the city, and strange occurrences in general. It is signed with the letter T, and it just says, "Need help in Blightwood. Something is wrong." And it's written with very basic handwriting, almost like it was a child. Not quite sure anything else about that. But Blightwood, as it would state, is located not far from Kronos, but still a little bit of a ride away from there. It is, let me have a look how far in fact. All these maps everywhere. So it would be about a week's ride away, I think. Let me have a look. Of course, I didn't open the one I needed. I should have some waiting music.
Dun, 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 dun.
Should have
Cannot
opened it
hear
before.
you, Sharok, if you're not talking.
Please hold. Your viewership is important to us.
We'll be back after these important messages. So I opened the map, but when I was up, I didn't save it on the computer, so now I have to open it manually from where I made it.
Oh, it's okay. We can
And
just
that-
say that it's like.
Right, now I got it. So from Kronos, it is 3 days ride.
Okay.
It's not too far away. But that is the second envelope. So there's not a lot of information in them, but it's more like I have a contact person. In one case, you just have a contact person named T, and a location for both of them.
Right. So Celeste will fold them both up, put them back into their envelopes, pop them back into her bag. And then she'll just keep like her hands under the water as she's kind of like soaking there, and just keeps prestidigitation running and keeping the bath like hot and steaming and clean.
Nice.
She just sits there, it's kind of like just like her nose and mouth above the water. She'll just stay there until someone knocks on the door and tells her that time's up, basically, after that point.
Fair enough. And Sean, you also have a very nice bath. It stings a little bit to begin with because your skin isn't used to hot water, but after a little while, it gets more used to it, and you relax a little bit. It almost feels like everything is back to normal, and you close your eyes. So beautiful, beautiful serenity, the feeling of just shutting out everything,
Yeah.
and just sitting there in your own little world.
Definitely would have been like, 10 minutes of just scrubbing hard and then.
Yeah.
No.
About an hour later, you all get knocks on your door saying that it's over. Ingwe, you had the best time. You have been talking to this individual about all the rocks and the stones and all the people that you know from the farm and everyone around you that you've ever met almost. She has just been a delight to have there. It's kind of like when you go to the hairdresser and you just end up talking about everything weird, even if you don't know them. Sometimes that's nice too. And as the knock is heard, she excuses herself and says, "Thank you so much. I hope you have a pleasant rest of your day." And she vacates and closes the door behind her. But your time is up.
And that, so just it might have been that was a PG bath or not a PG bath.
PG bath.
Parental guidance.
She was a Triton.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
So when the knock came at the door, Celeste got out of the bath and then proceeded to take another 10-15 minutes to actually get dressed and do her hair and
Right.
get herself organized.
Yeah, you don't get a second knock because of those extra 10 minutes. Feels like it's probably expected a little bit. But it's just to make sure that anyone who's fallen asleep, like Sean was probably, that it is time.
Putting everything back on, Sean throws his shoulder pauldron over, which was originally sitting on his right arm.
Right.
And he's like, feels a little more redundant there now. Because I'm having trouble with this strap. He's going to pull it off, throw it up onto his other shoulder, and make his way out, as I'm sure he awkwardly can't get the strap type thing to begin with. It takes a while. And he's just going to be looking for the first person out.
You probably wouldn't even be able to close the strap on the back by yourself because you can't really see anything up there. But you can do the first one for sure.
Yeah. He's looking for the first person who's out of their room, out of the group. And he's just like, as soon as he sees them, whoever they are.
Yeah. So that would be Nina, who just came from Ingway's room.
Oh.
Do you need a hand, sir?
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Sorry, I'm just getting used to this whole situation.
She goes in and she starts helping you, trying to put it in. Right, I have a little bit of experience in doing this, and you can see that she's an absolutely breathtaking woman. Compared to any of the other women that you have seen on your travel, except your wife, of course, then she's definitely just incredibly beautiful. And she's very sturdy with her hands when she's like putting this in. So it looks like she's not shy of doing ordinary work as well.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
a bit tight, but
I'll
that'll
loosen
loosen
it a
up
little
with
bit.
movement. No, that's good.
No.
That's good.
All right. Okay. Well, it's leather. It will give. So
Yeah.
right.
Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. Appreciate
No
it.
worries. And she walks back off.
Oh, that was nice of that random lady. Very kind of her.
Jack will probably get out pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's probably too hot for you.
Yeah.
Being a white dragonborn in a fucking sauna.
Just sitting there like cooling the water down.
Cold breath.
Yeah.
That is probably a thing, actually. Fair enough. Eventually, you finish your baths one by one, and you get ready to join each other downstairs. But I think that's time for us to have a break.
Sweet.
We can go and have our showers.
Gonna go have a bath.
That's
Returns. We're all sitting in hot tubs. Welcome back.
The hot tub stream. D&D hot tub stream? I think that should be a stretch
Future
goal.
one shot.
Very
Plus,
well.
one of us has got to buy a hot tub.
Yeah, that's true. We can probably just rent one. You don't have to.
Rent a hot tub.
Let's get a big enough bucket.
Rubber pool or something.
It's one of those
Yeah.
outdoor kiddie pools, and then
Yeah,
you just,
we all
each of us
just
have our
sit in it.
own pool. Right. And Ingwings is full of animals. Right. Let's go on a break, and then when we come back, we'll see where this goes.
Woo!
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Are you looking for a more exotic or sophisticated choice in dice? You should check out Level Up Dice, the company of experts in specialty dice made from materials like semi-precious stones, aluminium, and even have options for wood and bone dice. The designs are so beautiful it's hard not to find something which fits your next character. Level Up is an Australian-owned company and also run the Level Up TTV Twitch channel focusing on broadcasting tabletop role-playing games. Follow a link below when purchasing from Level Up Dice. It will greatly help support our channel and also help an Australian local retailer. Level Up Dice, the sophisticated choice. Monsters and Mayhem is sponsored by Miniporium.net, a huge selection of highly detailed miniatures for any tabletop role-playing game. Check out the beautiful miniatures, and if you use the code MAYHEM, all capital letters, at checkout, then you receive a 30% discount. In the beginning there was nothing. From the nothing sprung forth a something. The something was not a who or it. The something simply was. The something began roaming the nothingness and found itself alone. In solitude the something became the somethings. Multiple somethings sprung forth of the something, each with its own voice and presence. The somethings, as great as divine as they were, all needed something to measure their own greatness by. They created the first earth, and by doing so, became gods. The first earth was not perfect. In fact, it had many flaws. Because it was made as a circle, most things placed upon it would fall off the sides into the nothingness. The gods grew furious about the earth, and they cut it in half to make it flat. The excess was simply pushed aside and forgotten, at least for a while. The second earth was perfect, flat and vast. Each god began to populate it with creations and land masses of their dreams. Each god creating beings of their very own.
Soon the world was full of inhabitants, and they all began to watch over their creations with anticipation. However, many creations did not turn out the way the gods had hoped for, and a lot of animosity was born over the first few years. The creations would go to war with each other and even themselves. Some of these wars even spilled into the realm of the gods, where the gods themselves would command their creations to destroy another god's creation. The gods were eager to prove themselves better than another, and a long bloody war was fought throughout the first era of the first 3,000 years. A massive war for survival was fueled by the gods themselves as the world began to burn. They started to see their own mistakes. The gods made many sacrifices and separated some races from others by magic or by using the elements of nature. They tried to stop their creation, and slowly a peace of sorts came to be. And such a second era came to be with peace and kindness as its goal. Not every god nor every creature followed the peaceful ways, and some even broke away from their god after such events. But for now the god wars were over, having successfully separated their creation to an extent, minimizing the overall doomsday and averting full chaos. For almost another 3,000 years, the races had been completely separated. The gods had made a plan. The God Gate, located now in the Kingdom of Quill and where the borders of Okoralan is, had been inscribed with one of the family's life forces, the Karameshi. Once a descendant of that family were to attempt to open the God Gate, all races would once again have free reign. At the end of the 3,000 years, an unknown member of the Karameshi touched the God Gate, unlocking the prophecy. The mountain chains and oceans dividing the races all came down all over the realm. Great panic and rejoice at the same time, as creatures that had once only heard fairy tales of each other now once again stood face to face with one another. The gods had hoped that the last 6,000 years would have been enough for everyone to learn to coexist. But from the start, the tension already started building again. Whatever fragile piece was on the table seemed to crumble and regather from time to time. But the time of the wars was surely not over. There was now other entities who spread darkness across the world. Maybe the world had learned its lesson, or maybe it was doomed to repeat it. Welcome to the world of Epidos, where adventures are born, heroes are forged, and villains are always up to mischief. The Kingdom of Quill lies in the middle of it all, the heart of human civilization, at least if you ask them. To the north lies the cold Shadanon, where Northling constantly tests the borders to the kingdom with raids and invasions. To the south lies the desert lands of Zahani, ruled by self-proclaimed princes and empresses. The tension is at an all-high after a failed invasion into the kingdom years ago still sends trouble both ways. To the southeast lies the Dragon Empire, a proud people ruled by the Dragon Emperor, who according to legend are a descendant from a real dragon. The Empire has been locked in a cold war with the kingdom for generations, blocking all travel from entering the nation. But for the common folk, it's Monday. The birds are flying low and it looks like it may rain.
Jean Ordenfall spent his childhood on his family's farm, just south of the Duvet Forest. His parents, Derlin and Macy, raised him well, teaching him what he needed to know to one day take over. Financially, they did quite well for themselves, carting their crops to nearby towns and cities for sale, although the frigid weather that often surrounded their home did not make it an easy life. As is the case with most youngins living the farm life, Jean eventually sought to see what else the world had to offer, and so he left in search of what opportunities the neighboring city had for him. It wasn't long before he realized the city life was not his to live. The boy who left, though, had become a man, and the man had met a woman, a blacksmith's daughter by the name of Cerithia. They fell for each other quick, and before they knew it, Their love blossomed into a marriage and a son they named Derlin, after Jean's father. Jean eventually returned home to his parents' farm with his family, where they made a life for themselves, a new life for his wife and son, but one all too familiar to Jean. They were happy. That is, until the day vile creatures from beyond the veil made their way into their home. After being driven from his homeland by the insatiable undead that now plague it, Jean seeks out those brave enough to aid him in cleansing his land of the foul fate that befell him and his family, and exacting the vengeance he so eagerly thirsts for.
As a child, Celeste Highcrest would never have dreamed of leaving the sheltered life of luxury she had become accustomed to. Born to two noble parents in a land far beyond the Vale, Celeste's childhood had been fraught with expectation. Her father, High Archivist Saran Highcrest, had set high standards for his two children, and the elder of those two elves, Celeste's sister Cressida, had surpassed all of them. Cressida had found her talents at an early age, her nose buried in books, and magic coming to her as easy as breathing. Celeste, however, had struggled in the shadow of her sister's success for as long as she could remember, never quite meeting the expectations of her father, and always the object of his disappointed glances. When the two elves came of age, they sat the entrance exam to join their father at the sanctum, to become mentored under his tutelage and scribe ancient texts in the archives. Cressida, to no one's surprise, had passed the exam with overwhelming success. Celeste, on the other hand, held true to her long-standing tradition of always being second best. It was rare that one should ever choose to leave their homeland, but never being able to escape the constant overshadowing from her sister, Celeste had decided it was finally time to break free of this tradition. For here, she would always be Cressida's sister, never her own person. But if she were to leave, perhaps she could finally forge her own path. She found her way to the dimension door, stepping through for the first time and finding herself in a land strangely familiar, yet unlike anything she had ever experienced. She boarded the first ship she came across, bound for the kingdom of Quell, and spent years traveling these oceans between continents, desperate to find something worthy enough to bring home as tribute to her family. Until one day, the news found her. The door that she had stepped through to enter this plane had vanished, along with every other door that could lead her home. Now stuck, seemingly an entire universe between her and her homeland, Celeste is searching for answers, and some miracle that could lead her home again.
A young half-elf, Tam Corfin grew up working the land with his father and learning herblore and healing from his elven mother. After a horrible childhood accident, he swore he would avoid violence unless he had no other choice. When the war came, like every Corfin for generations before him, Tam enlisted to fight for his king. During the bloody battle for King's Helm, Tam's selfless efforts to heal his friends caught the eye of the celestial Aether, and she became his patron, giving him the gift of celestial healing. His courage in battle did not prevent him from drawing the ire of his superiors. His compassion was blind, and he would heal all in need, even the enemy. After the end of the war, Tam worked as a healer in the villages outside Crackvolm, hoping to save enough money to gain entry to the Healers Guild. After a series of unfortunate events, Tam finds himself in debt to a very wealthy and very criminal cartel boss. Pinned between his compassion and his new master, Tam tries to make the best of his situation, dreaming of a day where he can live his life in freedom.
Ingwe grew up in an exclusive, reclusive community of druids. His elders, ancient and wise, one of the greatest, his mother, was a great storyteller, and he grew up sharing their stories. While the community has very strict rules and customs and routines, each member is encouraged once in a lifetime to travel out into the world and experience the trials and tribulations, bring back their challenges to share and to tell the story of the world.
Man still decides to have that flip. There we go. Cool.
We're back, y'all. We're back, y'all.
Welcome, everyone.
Back, y'all.
So, last we left off, 10 seconds ago, or 13 minutes ago to be precise, you had a warm bath, and Ingwe ended up with his point of inspiration for his very nice bath. Celeste opened some envelopes with 2 potential new jobs from Aether/Bar? Question mark. And you eventually convene together downstairs in the entry area of the bathhouse, or the inn, as you can
say. How'd you all go? I'm feeling pretty relaxed, pretty chilled up.
Good. Ready for what we're doing today?
Yeah.
Yes, I feel much better.
There was a nice lady as well who helped me out with my shoulder pauldron. I switched it over this shoulder, figured get a bit more use out of it. But...
Oh, I was wondering how you got that on.
Yeah, I was having a bit of trouble with it, so...
Jean?
Yes?
Not to be too, forward, I suppose. But if you do ever require any assistance, I do have the means of being able to provide it without actually interfering with what you're doing. So if you do ever need... I was thinking, because you've taken on the duties of a chef aboard the airship, should you wish for assistance in that duty, I can provide it, but I don't actually have to, be in your way. So should you require that, I'm more than happy to provide my services.
I appreciate it. Definitely raised my curiosity, and perhaps, but no, thank you very much appreciate the offer.
I didn't want to offend. I know you're more than capable of doing anything, but while the injury is so new, it may help to acclimatize.
Yeah, no, I can be a bit emotional at times and react on that, but I think once my mind sort of works around what the situation is, I can be a bit more realistic in it. So I understand what you're getting at. I take no offense by it. So let's appreciate the offer.
Right, well, say the word, my hand's yours.
Thank you. Speaking of that ship, if we are going to be on there and I'm going to be cooking, I got to make sure they got the ingredients that I'm going to need for while we're on there, because I don't like to half-ass things. So I don't know if we're in a rush to go anywhere, but I was thinking of heading up there just to confirm they were able to conduct the necessary ingredients.
Did you already do that? I think you already did that, sorry.
Did we?
You did that as to begin with. You gave it room a list.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry.
I bet
you already do that, John.
It's been a long day.
I know you've died since then.
Did I? No, you're right.
It's been a lifetime.
Yep. You're right. Apologies. I mean, that bath was too relaxing. I'm forgetting things. All right. Well, that counts for pretty much everything I was going to do today. I was happy to go sit in the tent. But after that bath, I'm fine to do whatever.
Well, do we want to go and check on Ingwe's friend? Top the tower?
Yep. Sounds good.
Last I saw, she was heading out to the cave, but we should go and ask.
Maybe they found your arm.
Maybe.
But yeah, let's go.
Right. So you head back into the Sophodran Council and up to the top of this, once again, winding tower. You see lots of these green cloaked figures as usual. Seems to be looking out. They don't seem to have any issue with you. None of you seem to be causing any distress. And eventually you find yourself on the top where all these gardens are, and you can see the Opea flying over as before. You can see that Patrina, I think her name was, is doing garden work again, just as an ordinary worker. Pretty much just hanging out with the rest of the druids, doing
Is this the main head? The main head of the Beatrix, I think we said her name was.
Beatrix, yeah. And she's just hanging out there doing her normal job like before. She seems to be very, for someone who has a high position, she seems to be completely ignoring any stages or anything like that. She's just working in the garden like everyone else.
Hey, Miss Beatrix.
Oh,
and I will,
hey.
I'll start, like, get down next to her in the garden and try and copy whatever job she was doing.
Well, make a nature check.
Yeah, he's 16. Oh, nature. I'm not actually that good at nature. 16 plus 2, 18.
But she seems to be just kind of taking some of the seeds out and placing them gently in small pots for whichever reason, and you helping her with that, and you seem to be figuring it out. It's pretty straightforward, especially for you. So you manage how to do it. You know how to do it. And you manage to do it without breaking anything or without in any way interfering with the system. So, thank you so much, there. Thank you. So, how can I help you today?
Well, you seem very calm, considering it seemed.
Well, we went and investigated the cave, and there wasn't anyone there when we got there.
Oh no!
We found a large cage, as you had mentioned, and seems to be marks that could lead one to assume that there may or may not have been a white dragon or something in there. But the cave itself was completely empty.
Oh, like empty. Like, what about? Could you see the signs of, like there was blood on the floor and?
Yeah, we could see the signs of fight, and we can see sprays of blood and arrows and such.
And no dead bodies. They cleared them all.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
My friend left some of his stuff behind.
We didn't find anything. If whatever was there, they wanted to take it with them,
took it away.
unfortunately.
And what do you think? You mentioned yesterday that the orcs couldn't kill an Opea. What did we solve the problem? Is that?
Oh, I didn't say they couldn't kill it. I'd say that if whatever was eating these things, if anything was eating it, then that was definitely not orcs, and it may have been that dragon.
A dragon?
I'll give you a secret, but you have to promise me never to tell a single soul.
Even my friends?
Unless it's the 4 individuals here with you now, no. Or 3 individuals with you now. Then no. It's for their safety. They are peaceful creatures.
Yeah, definitely. I promise.
Right, so, from my perspective as a druid, I was very surprised to figure this out, but it is a very real guarded secret, and when they create this burst around them where they fly faster, we've been told that it gives off remnants of the astral sea. So what they do is they create a pocket of magic around them from the astral sea, and then they use their very smart intelligence to speed themselves up in that moment. So in a way, it's not so much a projection or propulsion of physical state, it's more of a magical state. However, another one of the side effects for these creatures is that the blood from them, and potentially the meat, has one very unique attribute that I have never found anywhere else. it can speed up the maturity process of any creature that eats it or consumes it. It doesn't speed up the mental level, but it will speed up the growth of an individual creature that consumes it. And I'm very worried that they have done this if it is indeed a white dragon, because that means that they now have a white dragon that is a child, but it might be an adult.
Excuse
Physically.
my intrusion, but doesn't that mean that if it simply left, the dragon would literally eat itself into oblivion? It'll eat. I mean, of course, it's not a good idea with what's going on, but if the dragon poses such a threat, if it keeps eating, it'll just become old and die, right?
In a way, dragons live a very long time, and they're very, very hard to control. But if they're of a child's mind, they're easier to control and very, very dangerous as weapons.
And with the power of the adult dragon, with the
Or
mind
maybe
of
even
a
worse,
child.
depending on how much they've been feeding these things. There's no science or any reference I have for this, but I know that the few times we have had any of these creatures injured or anything like that, I've noticed that wherever the bloods have been spilling, it has done certain things to the grass and to the creatures hit. I haven't mentioned this to anyone else for obvious reasons. These are holy creatures to us, but you have obviously been in grave danger, and I feel like I would not be right to keep this from you if it can help understand the situation of what's happened.
But surely you can tell someone that they may be used as weapons against you, that they may have dragons being used as weapons in the future.
Correct. So the case then knows.
Okay.
I have told them, but I don't tell any of these people I work with. It's simply too dangerous. Because it wouldn't take long for someone to decide that these creatures are simply nothing more than a spell component.
Poach them.
Yes. And we're here to protect them. That's why we are here on the top of this roof. It's nothing to do with all this greenery we're doing. That's to keep us busy. We're here to keep them safe and here to have them see us.
And is this the only place that the OPs that you know has a OPs? Are they elsewhere in the world?
There's no record of any other place where they are. But due to their nature, I would assume that there's a possibility that they could be in the Astral Sea.
Astral Sea, yeah, of course.
But that's not an easy place to get to or from, so getting them would be a lot easier to go here, wouldn't it? That's why they're in danger in more ways than one.
I'm assuming you've set up some sort of guard detail, night and day now at this point, to ensure that they're not led astray again.
They will continue to feed off the area in the cave, but we have now set up a patrol and are starting to fortify the area around the cave to make it safer for them than it was before.
It is quite fragile in there also. Walls and roofs caving in.
Yes. They tend to be intelligent enough to stay away from danger, but not if they get attacked in the volume that you have faced as well. That is quite unspoken of, especially this far away from the borders. So we're not quite sure where they went or what really happened, but they are all gone now. Most likely they've gone back to their own kingdom, if you can say it like that, their own region.
Wow.
I only hope they're far away from here.
Me too. But we have increased defenses, of course. And there's plenty of soldiers looking out for any of these individuals out on the grassy fields and anywhere they go.
Well, I'm sorry that we didn't find concrete cause for the disappearance of these creatures.
Well, you did find out who did it, at least. Even if it wasn't us to apprehend them or to destroy them, we know that those individuals were most likely attached to our enemies, which is unfortunate, but at least knowledge is power, we know now. And we don't know how much else that they have found while they were there. They've been so close to the city the whole time.
I'm glad we could have been on service.
Of
I do
course.
hope it is the last time that... Hopefully we at least acted as some sort of deterrent.
I think that they're not going to come back. But I also unfortunately think that they probably got what they were after.
Keep your eyes on the skies, I suppose.
It would seem so. It would seem so.
Have you sent word to the other clan about possible dragon attacks?
We're spreading the news as fast as we can. We are mentioning dragon, but we don't know to what extent. But anything that we know about what could potentially happen have definitely been shared with our allies.
Oh. Orcs with dragons don't bode well.
No, especially not if the dragons aren't intelligent, but physically strong. That's dangerous.
Easy to manipulate and coerce.
Exactly.
Well, let us know. Let us know if there's anything, any more information, anything else.
I will.
We've now... I mean, you're in a place with the... You seem in tune with nature, but also you're in a place with the gods. We've been... We're here anyway. No, I'll give her a pamphlet.
Thank you. For,
Have you heard about them before?
these?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I heard of plenty of the different gods and
Oh, good.
worships and such. I feel like it's for my sake. I tend more to worship the mother of nature than I do worship any of the other gods.
Oh yeah, I don't worship them, but I met them yesterday, and they anyway, one of them told me that I needed to give you this. So here, give some to your friends too.
Right. So there's tonics for concussions. If you need any of them.
No, they like look, Dricket's got the tattoos, and anyway, I'm giving too much information. My friends are like telling me that I've told you too much. But
Right.
just doing this task together just makes me feel like I can trust you.
Right. You know what? I will take this and I'll put it right here. And she puts it on one of the trees that are on the walk path. And she just holds her hand over it and it just kind of gets consumed a little bit. Stays there on the tree. How about that? I'll be glad to leave it there.
Oh yeah, great.
Anyone working past will see it.
Well, you're a cleric now too. Awesome.
Wait.
I'm just going to be a druid.
It's a rather favourable union, if anything. I mean, the earth feeds nature, and sunlight feeds the earth. So,
Oh, not wrong.
in a way, work well together.
Well, I will accept it, and I will definitely mention this to any of my friends.
Cool.
Thank you. Is there anything else that I can help you with?
No, but is there anything else I can help you with? This has been great. I've really enjoyed
I mean, we can work on this all day if you want. There's plenty of jobs to be done. I do have one thing for you. And she takes this little box. And she gives each of you a healing potion.
Oh,
We
thank you.
don't have many of these, but I definitely feel like it would be wrong of me not to give them to you first.
Thank you. It is greatly appreciated.
My pleasure. I'm sorry about what happened.
Sean sort of like looks at it for a bit, raises an eyebrow, and then just accepts it. Puts it into his bag. While he's putting it into his bag, he's just going to grab out some flyers himself.
Right.
He's going to sort of put somewhere in a strap so he can pull one out as he needs it.
Fair enough. No problem. Anything else that you would like to do?
Did she already give us the ring? Did she give that to us before we left?
Oh, yeah, she did.
Cool.
Sweet.
That was 1,000 gold worth of ring, I believe, was it?
Yes.
Yes.
1,000 gold worth of ring.
Very fancy ring.
Ooh.
I think I got it, but I would have handed it to you, Celeste. Do you want to have it? If it's, I would have said, "Oh, do you know what this is? Is it magical or whatever?"
Yeah, I think you took a look at it. It's not a magical arcane type of ring.
Yeah,
It's more like a pretty ring.
Yep. Cool. I will pop that in my inventory from Beatrix.
Beatrix.
For
1,000 gold ring.
It's pretty fancy.
The bling ring.
Also a little strange for a druid, maybe, but yes.
As we're like heading down the spiral, if we head that direction next, Sean's gonna like. Well, first and foremost, Sean's gonna sort of copy a note in from Ingwe's book in like just handing to everyone. Like, to each of those green guards, John's just going to pull it out and hand it across as he's walking down. He's not even going to say anything. He's just going to hand it in their direction and like wait for them to take it. If they don't, he just like drops it by their feet and keeps walking.
Very well. You do manage to hand out quite a few. Some people accept them, and you can see that some of them they just kind of put it in their pocket and probably just waiting somewhere to drop it. Some of them just said, no, I'm okay. And then, but you hand out a few. Like people aren't like aggressive about this. But you managed to give out a few.
Jean's,
Of all
like,
the things we've done in cities, this is like the tamest.
Yep.
How many of these things do you think we need to hand out before she'll not kill us?
No,
She was never going to kill us.
No.
Well,
Right. Well, the
I
other
guess
ones.
just go until we're told to stop.
Yes.
She did say that there was no time limit.
Which means there's got to be a pamphlet limit, right?
Well, the stockpile seems to replenish.
Yeah, but it's got to come from somewhere, right?
That'll be the sign, right? We just keep handing them out until there's none left, and it'll just there must be a pile somewhere else that we just
Slowly working. Right.
Also, this is gonna sound weird, but I figured you're the one asking way. Isn't it weird to sort of like put paper into a tree? Isn't that like I mean it doesn't for druids and that, but isn't it different for you and your people? Like, wouldn't it be like taking the skin from one animal and then sort of like molding it into another?
What do you mean? Where does paper come from?
Oh. Well, most sort of parchment and paper are from trees.
Oh yeah, but that's like, their hair and stuff. Yeah, it's not like they cut the trees down and kill it and then smash it up into a pulp and then put it through some sort of machine that rolls out like white paper. Like, it's not like they do something crazy like that, is it?
Would John know how paper is actually made?
You would probably know because you you're like an outdoorsy kind of man. You
Yeah.
would know
And we would have
that
needed
part
some
of
at
it
the
because
house.
that's some of the things that people buy from farms and stuff.
We would have made like homemade stuff at home, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, and you also know that parchment sometimes is made from from deer's hide.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, there's that.
So Drekik, I just
Mhm.
how did you feel meeting the gods?
That. Yep. Experience. Top of the bucket list. But I thought I'd meet them when I died. Met them a lot sooner than that. I mean, you died, and I met them. I mean, that counts, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I figured, you'd be the best person to speak to in this regard because you'd have a better idea of it. But yeah, I mean, I think I've met the Stormlord like twice. I mean, with everything that's gone on, it would only make sense. But yeah, like that's definitely them, right?
As far as I could tell, that was definitely them. Although, what the hell were they talking about, Ron? What?
I don't know. What did they say about Ron? I was a bit distracted at times.
I asked, why is there only 8? Where's Ron? And they said, oh, Ron's still suckling the breasts. And I went, what?
Oh, so he's like a baby. Is that
I
the
guess.
Is that what Ron is? That makes sense for a god. You have like a baby dog god, an old lady god, and
That just means
But
the
is Ron
first god that chose me was a baby.
Is that how it's described in your? Oh, wait a second. You were telling me the stories the other night. Ron's not a baby.
No, Ron's not a baby.
Which?
But what if he's not killed?
Ron got killed, yes.
And so perhaps he was reborn. And when you are reborn, most of the time, would you not have to regrow?
People don't get reborn. That's not how it works.
They're a god, not a person.
We need to make sure we don't tell the gods about the Opia thing. Otherwise, they'll feed them to Ran.
But then he'd be a child Ran in a
Maybe
grown-up
we need
Ran's body.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't know how to walk. Oh God, stumbling around wanting milk.
It just grows up their physical appearance, not their mental.
So the thing is, right, what I've worked out about gods is there's kind of, they're not, it's a bit like how John didn't understand magic. Like, there's different kinds of gods. The sense I got from, like, those gods were that they were, like, some kind of being that was different. And...
Well, they weren't gods. The ones that we met yesterday.
No, they
Yeah,
were.
they were.
They're my gods.
Like, but it's like how you have a different sense of what people are than me. Like, I think, Celeste, you have a real sense of what gods are that's like the way that John thinks about humans, right? And I think I have a sense of gods the way that I think about people. And Drekik thinks gods are just all the powerful people, but you differentiate between the human powerful people and the other people, and you because they were gods, right? They're definitely gods.
No, well, they're godlike.
But I could be godlike, right? Like, and some of the elders are godlike.
That would not make you a god.
What makes you a god? If people worship you?
No, it is in your creation.
In your but who created the gods?
Well, that's the thing. That's what makes you a god.
That you create stuff.
That you are timeless. You were there before anything. You've always been and always will be.
So there's no new gods.
Not in that sense. There are other godlike beings.
No, because that book you have about the one that's the whole point of having a tattoo is that she wanted to be a god, right? And
yes.
And that's the like I get it. Like your definition of gods is like people. Like, you have to be a human to be a god. But obviously, what Lolth and they're like, as long as I have the power, it doesn't matter who I was or when I was. Like, when I was is irrelevant if I can decide when things are.
Yes.
So, can we agree to define gods not by what race they are, but by their power and...
So if someone has, well, if a being has power that is greater than would be seen on the mortal plane, then you would like to define them as a god. Is that what we're saying?
That make Vartex a god by that definition?
That's what I'm asking. Because he did
Yeah.
ask if Vartex was, like Vartex.
No, but like, no, because you have to derive your power from people.
If you have self-power, well, then that would make me a god, because I drive my
No, that's
power
why you're
from
not
myself.
a god, right? Like, you're not a god because gods get their power from, the worship and adulation of others.
Well, I get mine from myself, the worship and adulation of myself.
You're like a god.
So I'm like a god.
But you're like a
because...
god with one follower.
Yes. So that...
Yeah, and then if I believe it, because they were really confused by that, because they were like, you don't believe in me. Like, Aether was like, I believe in you, and she was like, no, you don't. And I was like, but I do, because you're standing right there. You definitely exist. You're a person, and you're very powerful. I believe in you. And I believe, like, if she was like, I'm going to beat you in a running race, I'd be like, yeah, I believe you could beat John, and I believe in you.
Yes, but she is not a god. In the stricter sense of the word.
Don't tell Drekik.
Well, he's right here.
But they're all gods.
Sure.
Yes. See? They're all gods.
Look, let's not confuse the topic, right?
Just a DM question. The gods that Drekik and John's pantheon, are they all Titans too?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're not gods.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
theoretically, like I don't know how to explain this. There's deities and then there's gods, and I'd say that these are more like a deity in that sense of being worshipped gives them power, but they are a creature that is not necessarily born to be what they are, but when they become great enough in power and following, they become gods in the mortal sense, but they are actually not gods. They're titans, and titans can tend to be stronger than gods sometimes. So,
Wait.
Because technically they have unlimited power.
yes, someone forget to cap their level.
Yes.
Where the gods are pretty much like that, unless they get a lot of followers.
Sean was like following this conversation until he like literally could not comprehend it. And then he's just turned around. Yeah, he's just turned around and he's just continued handing things out as when they're walking towards me.
Have you heard about this god?
He's kind of listening in the background, but he's just like, go to the Golden Pantheon. Here you go, Golden Pantheon.
Yeah, and like Ingway's like accosted some random person and be like, what is a god? Like, tell her. Like, we're having this massive debate about as to what
But after a while, you end up handing out flyers, having a very deep philosophical debate about what is a god, what is not a god. But where are you going?
God.
I don't think we're going anywhere for now. I think we would literally be wandering around the city, handing out flyers, having this conversation for like 3 hours. Like Ingwe and Celeste just debating the entire time about Celeste talking at a brick wall, trying to explain the difference between a god and a titan. And all the meantime.
I would have just got that confirmation that they are gods and moved on. Just let you have your debate.
Sure. As that was going, once that was there, Drekik like joined the non-debate, so to speak. Yeah, would have just been like, why don't you guys continue here? We'll head off that way. We'll cover more ground this way. And Sean would have like guided Drekik and been like, let's go finish those drinks from yesterday.
Yes, I think I've almost finished mine. Ingwe and I have polished off a lot.
Right, so you two are heading to the Kraga's Inn, and the two of you are having the philosophical debates in the middle of the street about gods and deities. Cool.
And Celeste, for the record, just to say, has handed out one flyer through this entire thing. Like, she would have just grabbed one from Ingwe's pile and just passed it off-handedly to someone as they walk past, and then that's it. All she's one.
Are you sure she didn't give it to one of the others?
What?
Like,
Give
you
it
gave
to
it to
Drake.
Ingwe gave it to Drake because he left.
I was like picturing like you have one in your hand, and every time you like go to pick it up to someone,
Yeah, here you go.
he says something, you just like shake it back in his face as the person's like, oh, okay.
I'm just holding on to one
Just, like,
the
yanking
entire
it away.
time.
Like, no, this is okay, cool. We'll figure.
Fair enough. So the two of you are heading to Kraga's Inn to have
Yep.
a drink. And you see again the large giant still sloping on the bar.
Yeah.
And are you ordering something to drink today, Sean? Or are you participating in what Drekik already has purchased?
I think I had a little bit of something left as
Right.
well. I don't know how
Ron
it's
had something.
faring because it had milk in it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You had a white...
Yeah, basically a goat milk white Russian.
What the fuck did we call it? I don't even remember.
That should last for ages. That's why
Oh,
they invented it.
Yeah, it's also
there
fairly
you
good.
Got a lot of alcohol in it.
Yeah. So it was called a white, and then the Russian equivalent in your world.
Valendor.
Yes, that's it. White Valendor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Sure. Well, Penny, the air genasi, flies up and hands you your drinks. Is there anything else you're after today? Would you like some of the food that you left last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she flies away. And a little bit after, the massive amount of food comes back in. It's not as fresh as it was before, but it's still definitely edible. But some of the vegetables are a little smushed and stuff, but still eatable. Just eat it.
Sounds very used
This
to
will be
the
good for tomorrow.
first 2-3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like rations for like a week.
Yep.
Is there anything in particular you want to do while you eat, or you just want to hang out and drink and eat?
Hang out, have a normal conversation, not about God.
So I
About
used to grow
farming.
potatoes.
Fair enough.
They're very rough in the winter, but they can be grown.
Can we go as part of our, as part of arguing with Celeste? I think Ingwe's gonna try and seek information from the experts, and so there's temples.
There is a church here for the Archidron Church, which is Drekik's church,
Yes.
and I guess Sean's as well. Other than that, not really. Most of this place isn't set up with churches and such. There is the Druids, which obviously worship something a little different, but that's not in direct opposition of what's going on. But the only real church here is the Archidron Church because of where you are.
Yeah. So if Celeste is okay with being kind of led, not led, argued with, I think we should go there.
Well, what are you searching for here, Ingwe?
Answers to the.
Yep, they're going to be... at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you worship or what they're called.
No, it seems like what matters is power, right?
Well, exactly. But even if we were to go in here to ask them, they would be incredibly biased. I think what you'd want is to get answers from scholars, people to derive their power from somewhere completely
Yeah, but they're
opposite.
biased too.
Well, then everywhere's biased.
Exactly. So all the information is just helpful. I mean, that's why I'm here, right? Because I could go home and just ask the elders, and they could say this is the decision, and I'll just accept it.
All right, well, go and ask the question.
But if you want to make up your own mind, you've got to figure it out, don't you? Isn't that the point? To figure out.
Well, yes,
I mean,
but why do you want to figure it out, though? What is the reasoning?
I don't know, but that's why I'm. Why are we trying to stop? Why don't we be on this? You reckon those Titans aren't gods, and they don't want Lolth to be a god? Why aren't we on their side?
Well, in a sense, we are.
No, I mean, why aren't we on the bad guy side?
I think you just answered your own question.
Yeah, I know you think that
I mean, we're the bad. Like, why are they the bad guys?
Because they want to destroy the world.
Do they?
Well, as far as I'm aware, yes.
Don't they just want to control the world? Like,
Well, yes, and I suppose in a sense that would be destroying what is currently the world.
yeah, but that's what the gods do. Already.
They don't control the world. The world controls them. They created the world, but in turn, it controls them.
So would you not be led to the?
I shall go with you out of just.
Because I want to get a sense at what I want to do is just kind of get a sense of the history of the gods. So I'm going to ask them questions that go way back to, but essentially they probably can't answer the question, because the question that I'll keep asking is like, how did they become gods?
So you want to find someone to ask that?
Yeah. And also tell them that I met the gods yesterday.
Right.
And
So
how they became gods.
you enter the church to do this, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
This is the place where you would normally go. The church at the moment is pretty empty, because it's not really a church of worship in the way that you normally see a church, because this is more like a testament to the gods more than a place of worship, because everyone can worship the gods of this specific religion anywhere they want. There's no specific church that you have to go to pray. This is more like if you want to go to a big ceremony or something really special happens, this is a place to do it together.
Or you want to sacrifice someone.
Exactly. This is also a place where you can see clear markings of this is where you can do the thing. But it's not a church in the same sense as what you normally see. As you enter, there is one individual in there. And this individual is a female drow. And she has her hair in braids with long white hair. And she has leather armor on, so she definitely doesn't look like a priest. But she introduces herself as a priestess of the Archidron Church. And her name is Lemera.
So, hello.
Hello.
My friend and I, we're clerics. Recently, from yesterday. The gods. We met the gods yesterday, and they one of them told us that we had to spread these. Anyway, that's not the point. That's not what we. Oh, wait a second. Aren't the drow? My stories are so confused. Celeste, aren't the drow? Aren't you supposed to worship Lolth? And isn't that?
Well, I guess so.
Do you?
No, I do not.
Why not?
I don't feel that Loth was going in the right path for me.
Okay.
And as a gentle reminder, I am not allowed downstairs anymore, which is fine with me, even though the sun is annoying.
Oh yeah, which is why you're in here, because it's pretty dark in here.
Well, I mean, I can still walk around outside, but I found my own peace here. But what can I help you with?
Well, so yesterday when we met the gods, Celeste didn't think they were gods because they were different than gods, and I think that. Anyway, that's what we're trying to work out what a god is and why you would be a god. Because is Lolth a god? Lolth's not a god, Celeste.
Well, there's some misconceptions about what is a god and what is not a god. Loth is technically a god. She is a god at the moment. She has also been immortal. She has been many different things.
Wait, so if you become not mortal anymore, then you're a god. Is that what you're saying?
No. So she was a god. She lost her powers, and then she regained her powers to join the other of the original gods that was created at the beginning of time. Gods is a strange term, as I can understand that from a Eladrin elf's perspective, it's different. It is a perspective not of power, but of appreciation. But with appreciation comes power. If a lot of people liked you, anyway, then everyone would then be your friends, or at least want to help you. Whereas everyone doesn't like you, then they wouldn't be inclined to help you. In fact, people will be inclined to want to do you a bad service, wanted to hurt you, maybe even. With the gods, it's quite similar, to be honest. The more people like you, the more strong you are. There's different definitions of what a god is. When a god has enough power to shape the world, to talk to individuals through magical means that can sway them and feel the presence of their power and their appreciation, that is a god. Especially when you come to this church, you're probably aware that these gods that we worship don't really have the title of God in the grand scheme of things, but we worship them as gods because it's the easiest way to describe what they are to us. A god is someone you worship, so theoretically, you could be your own god. You could be a god for someone else. But if you have any powers, come down to certain different things. Some creatures are born incredibly strong. And because of that, it's easy for them to do things and get a following and become gods. Some creatures do not have that. Humans, for instance, not. Elves, not. It depends. There's always ways that the fables tell us that we can become gods, but I think it's more of a story about how to deal with the fact of appreciation and worship and how to deal with having power in the first place. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, we agree to disagree, like about who's people.
Right. So, what is your disagreement?
Well, you described it that there's different definitions, and Celeste, because she's a, did you say Aladrin elf? I've never heard of. I've obviously met one. Are you an Aladrin elf?
I suppose so. That's what, the mortals called me.
So, again, another term that can be confused and misled.
Because she's not mortal.
I'm not immortal, if that's what you're thinking. I'm just not of the material. I'm not of this plane. I'm a different thing altogether.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So, let me explain it a little bit different. This is a little bit abstract for me because obviously this is not my religion. At the beginning of time, there was nothing. And then these gods appeared out of nothing. And they started creating the world. And in a way, they created a world, but they weren't perfect in any way. And no god is ever perfect. That's impossible. These gods created other creatures, and one of them was Titans.
Who's my favorite?
Titans themselves became very strong. So strong that sometimes when they did the bidding of the gods, mortals would feel that they were talking to a god. And eventually, because of the misconception to begin with, if you can say it like that, these individual titans became very strong and became gods themselves. And some of them created bonds together, like the Archidran Church or the Golden Patrons or several others. And instead of being just an individual god that has worshippers, they became a group of gods that strengthened each other. And its worshippers were free to worship any or pray to any of them. The reason that we have our religion as we do is because we believe that the right way to worship a god or goddess is to pray to the one that in the situation is the most correct one to ask for help for. You wouldn't ask the Storm Lord to help you with your crops. You wouldn't ask Knockmana to help you in a fight, because you know that he would trick you. But there's different aspects of that, where a normal god, in the sense of the gods outside of my repertoire here, they're very old, but they're also pretty set in their ways. And the gods have a tendency to have a hands-off approach. But Titans do not. Which is one of the reasons they have accomplished so much in so little time, and they have gotten so many followers. So yes, both of them can be described as gods, but they're different. But what they do is similar. Create worlds, govern certain religious aspects, help their followers, grant them magic sometimes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's really helpful. Did that solve the problem, Celeste? Were we set?
Didn't think we had a problem.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. We should do it more often. This was great fun. Oh man.
Go church hopping.
How long do you think we need to keep handing out these pamphlets for?
Today or in total?
Well, it seems like we could do that. Because it was just bullshit, right? Like, it was her. She didn't even want us to do it. She just wanted us to do it because she brought you back to life.
Well, like we said before, to keep doing it until stack runs out.
Oh, yeah. Until the stack runs out. Okay.
Because I would like to keep my end of the bargain.
Yeah, it seems really obscure, though, right? Like, anyway, we'll reapproach this in a couple of days, hey? See how many we can get rid of.
I have a plan.
Yeah, me too. Oh, you and
Probably
me.
have the same plan.
I think I know where this is going now. Oh, God. Right. Yeah, we'll see.
So anyways, Drekik, that's how you grow the biggest potato in harsh winters.
I've never grown potatoes before. Our environment's way too cold.
So now you know. No, I'm telling you, you can do it in snow. It's rough, but it can be done. Trust me.
That would save on the hunt so much.
I'd say that eventually you all end up back at the tavern, if there's nothing else that you wanted to do, Yotu. And it's around an afternoon time now. You guys have been drinking and talking and handing out flyers and talking to priestesses who apparently knows your name. And yeah, it's around 5 o'clock now, I'd say, like dinner time. It's starting to go a little darker.
Right, well, I might get my leftovers from yesterday and fill up on that, and then I'm happy to, sit and relax until, if you still wanted to head out this evening.
Oh, we want to do that thing tonight. Well, should we come up with a plan?
Well, we don't really go there and watch and see what happens. We can't really compose a plan until we know what it is we're dealing with. Right now, it's just...
How are we going to watch, though? Like, there's so many different ways. Like,
I think what you suggested yesterday, Ingwe, about being a cat in the tree sounded like a really great idea.
Yeah, but are we all going to hide, or are some of us going to be like, I can imagine yesterday when we got really drunk and we're silly, Drekik, no one seemed to care because we were really drunk and they were like, "You're drunk, we don't care." If you pretended to do that, like didn't actually get drunk, but like pretended to be drunk wandering around, then like I could be the cat, but also you could be there still.
So you'd be the cat in the tree, and I'd just be drunk. on the other side
No,
of the
not
room.
actual drunk. Like you got to pretend to be drunk.
That's not fun.
And maybe you and John could be like wandering around, right? Like because
I
then
can
if
be
you-
drunk with John.
Pretend drunk again. I
Pretend drunk with John.
we got a couple drinks in us earlier as well, so I think we're loose anyways. We'll be able to pull
A
off
little
that
bit.
fake drunk bit better.
But I know how to make a damn potato now. Pretty good.
That's right. Grow big potatoes in the winter. You got it.
Because Miss Celeste, if you want, before I actually might. Should I be a cat or should I, like, I could be a big spider and like hide, and then I could.
I don't know how inconspicuous a giant spider is.
Pretty inconspicuous when they're on the roof hiding. But also, I have this trick, right, where particularly at night it's effective. I can like draw the shadows closer so that when people are perceiving or like trying to see you, the shadows draw around and it makes it really hard to see. And I can do that for lots of people, basically anyone that's close to me. The shadows that I want, the shadows won't let other people see them.
That's amazing, anyway. Yeah, that could definitely be useful.
Sounds like a neat trick, controlling shadows.
Yes, well,
Should
we could take the higher vantage points.
And then like Drekig and John could like wander through the space, and then like get a drink from somewhere, and then wander back through the space, and then so if they're bad guys trying to stab people, they'll stab John,
Yeah.
and then we like rescue him, and then if they're
Well-
just people that are trying to have sex with someone, then they might be like, "Hey, John, do you want to have sex with me?" And John can be like, "No."
Well, it's his decision.
Nope. Likely no.
Likely, so there is a chance.
I think that's what's gonna happen. Like I genuinely like he was pretty certain that it was just people that were trying to cheat on their wives or husbands or.
Well, I think that, it's a good
particular
plan.
person, isn't it?
I am just concerned that if Jean and Drekik are, as you said, wandering through the space, that whatever's going to happen won't happen. I feel as though it has to seem as though the place is dead and quiet. I am just concerned that even if it did seem inconspicuous, it was still, if we were going to do something illegal, and there were people wandering around, nevertheless they're drunk or not, I still wouldn't do it just in case.
Yeah.
That is my only concern.
It would sort of work as a deterrent. I get you.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I just get the sense that if
Is cheating illegal?
it's you would
It's
know.
frowned
This is
upon.
your city.
It's
not
not
cultured.
illegal though.
There is repercussions of cheating, but
Okay.
not like it's not illegal in that sense. But there's repercussions of it. Like you have to pay money to the one who get offended.
Right. Okay.
So if you cheat on your wife, you have to give your wife a lot of money.
For the divorce.
Sorry, Mr. John. I interrupted you there.
No, I was just gonna say I could be. I mean, I could be quiet if we want someone in. I can more ride it, sort of shuffling around. I'm a hunter. I've learned to be quiet over time, but I can't really be wearing this armor while doing so. It makes it difficult.
Yes, I also don't have the quietest of armors on me. You may have noticed it back in the cave. Not my goat's fault, after all.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to hide in an alley nearby.
Oh no, not you, Jean. Not hiding in an alley. Might give off a wrong impression.
I'll be with you. It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, that's because it depends on what these guys are. If it's inconspicuous, then it doesn't matter. If it's like I want to kill someone, then we want. If they're gonna try and stab someone like the slasher guy, we want to have someone that they can stab. And if we want to, if it's like some sort of plot or a spy thing or like then I think it might not even happen because we already discovered the plot, and it was to make a dragon, baby dragon, an old dragon.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So, hang on. The mission. Refresh me on what the mission exactly is again. Are we just finding someone and following them and finding out what they're doing? Is that all we're doing?
Yeah, well, there were individuals dressed in dark clothes that were skulking around the streets at night, and we were to just find out what they were doing.
Oh, that's easy then.
Was there something about us having to go past the Hunter's Lodge for this as well? Or am I misremembering that?
That was the area that they had suspected was involved.
Right. Okay, and it's said to be happening between 12 and 4 from memory. Yeah.
Repeatedly.
I mean, we've only got one more night. It could just not happen tonight. Like, we could spend all this time talking about a plan and then go and watch, and then nothing happens.
Yep, nothing comes of it.
Well, should we try and have a rest before we go then?
Yeah.
I say, cat in the tree, Celeste covered by shadows, me and John just getting drunk in an alley.
Pretending, drinking.
Pretending to get drunk in an alley. Okay.
What? So what are you going to do?
That.
So where are
I'm
you
not
at?
going to be a cat. I'm going to be a giant spider.
Okay. So you're going to be a giant spider and crawl around on the ceilings and stuff. And the rest of you are going to be pretending to be drunk or just trying to be shadowy.
Celeste will hang with Ingwe.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any specific area that you plan on going?
Well, I think head to the Hunter's Lodge first, and then once we get there, sort of figure out the best spots.
An alleyway maybe across the street from where the orange tree is.
So the orange tree is in a different, completely different place.
Yeah. That's where we met the guy.
That's where you met the guy. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
So, with the Hunter's Lodge, it's not too hard actually, because there's all these little, not forests, but little grassy areas, little park areas. So, you can definitely sit in the bush there and have a look. And anyway, you can definitely crawl on top of the building if you want to. That's not a problem. But I need all of you to make a perception check.
And we are waiting until like 11 o'clock.
Yes,
right?
I understand.
Yeah.
And we had like a rest, like a little nap before we went, so that
In that time while we were resting as well, Jean would have turned to Celeste and be like, I don't know how much longer that food's going to hold on for. I think it only holds for about 8 hours, just as a heads up.
Oh right, well, guess I'll have it now.
Woo, 3 temporary
Oh,
hit
that
points.
was really nice.
That sounded like you were eating like a stick or something. Like, right. Perception checks.
I got a 13 plus 4 for
17.
17 for Celeste, yeah. And
I
Ingwe.
got 9.
And 9 from Cricket.
1 for Ingwe.
No, I got an 8.
Oh.
I rolled a 1.
And Sean?
22.
22. Alright, so the way that I see this is that Ingwe is sitting on the roof. And he's still thinking about that conversation about the gods. And then he sees a shooting star and he gets really distracted. So he doesn't really hear anything or see anything at all. Drekik, you don't really understand this fake drinking, but you're starting to get a little buzzed. Maybe you shouldn't have actually gotten alcohol.
Placebo.
Not quite sure how that was supposed to work, but you're starting to get a little drunk. Celeste, you notice there is, over a period of an hour, there's a few individuals that are sneaking around in the city, and you can see them in these dark cloaks coming down the street. They're hiding from plain sight. They're trying to avoid being detected, but you roll pretty well, and they're not that stumpy. So you eventually see them all converge onto the Hunter's Lodge, and they all go into the back entrance, and then they go in through the back entrance one by one, and there's this guy in a hood who's leading them all in one by one. It's very covert, very stealthy, and it doesn't seem like any of the city guards or any other ones have really spotted them, but that's definitely what you see. And you also see this, Sean. And you also, because you rolled a little higher, you also hear when one of them enters, you see, welcome, Maze Master. And then they walk in and then close the door.
Ingwe, did you see that?
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
You have 8 eyes and you have none of them on the ground.
I've got 7 of them on the ground.
All of them in the same spot.
No, I just I saw people going down towards the back entrance of the Hunter's Lodge. Hold on. Get up my sending stone. Tracking, Sean. Did you see that? See where they went?
Yep. Saw it, and I heard a little something too.
Who you talking to?
Right, Draggy. We got these sending stones. They let us.
Oh, right, there.
to
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yep.
I just wanted. Sorry, technical difficulties. Yeah, as they were entering, they told them, "Welcome, Mace Master."
Celeste is going to have her sending. How far away is Drekik?
Right
Where we
next
are.
to Sean.
How far away from us?
I'd say you're probably like 60 feet away or so in the bushes on the back there.
So Celeste will cast sending and also speak into the sending stone so that she can cast message, sorry, to Drekik so that he can also hear and reply at the same time.
Nice.
So what do we do? Are we going in? Are we following them, or are we just reporting this behavior back?
Don't know if maybe we could disguise as them if we can find black cloaks, or I mean, yeah, this is gonna sound dumb, but if we maybe grab some of them before they get there, we knock them out, take their cloaks. But also, we don't know what's going on, so maybe they don't deserve to be knocked out.
Which is Maze Master like a password, or is that like a figure?
Maze is in corn or maze is in mace?
I wasn't sure myself. I assumed, spiky ball.
Okay, because it could be very, very different depending on
Oh,
the
right.
reflection.
Sorry, I'm getting second-hand info.
Yeah. I feel like you'd be getting an echo from me, or I guess maybe not.
Celeste, why aren't you responding anymore? Celeste, hello?
Yes, hold on, Drekik. I'm listening to John.
You also notice it doesn't seem like there's any more coming. You've probably seen 5 individuals in total, maybe 6.
If it would be too difficult to go around the back way unnoticed, we could potentially try to go in the front and, disguise ourselves in a crowd and try and slip around somewhere.
Since when are we good at being stealthy?
Well, I'm half naked for this mission, so.
Cheeks to the wind, John.
I mean, if we can get a black cloak, I feel like we could get at least 2 of us trying for the back, maybe. But are they open at the front? Do we know? Or is it just sort of like a day club thing? Like they meet for crumpets and tea and talk shit?
I'm gonna look over and see if I can see lights or noise or music or anything coming from the Hunter's Lodge. It looks like it's...
Everything seems to be dark and closed off. There's no lights except for that one room that they went into.
They look like they're closed, Sean.
I mean, that doesn't mean we can't use the front door, I guess. Might be less guarded.
And does it look like the room that they went into is like So in the building, does it look like a side room that they've just gone into, or does it look like there might be heaps of rooms?
Try to make a perception check again.
Giant spider perception.
Spider perception.
Aye.
Come on, Peter Parker.
With all those eyes, it's got to be.
Spider perception.
Sometimes like animals have like weird perceptions. Oh. No, so I'm gonna crawl down to the like on top of the door, and then I have blind sight for 10 feet. So through like tremors and stuff. So I want to get a sense because I rolled really shit on my perception. So I'm gonna go into the dangerous place. I want to do the Daredevil thing and try and build a picture of the room from outside.
Right.
Just 10 feet into.
What did you roll with your perception check?
9.
It's not great. You can see that you can sense that there is this one room that has motion in it.
Yeah.
And the rest is dead. There's nothing in the rest. And that's just that one room at the very far back there. You can hear muffled voices, but you can't really hear what they're saying.
Potentially just crouch outside and see if we can listen to what's going on inside. Or peek through a window or something.
Can't we just knock?
Well, they were all dressed in a certain way, right? That was...
Say when you.
Sorry, you can't see me. I'm nodding.
Yeah.
Is message only 25 words?
No, message is... Sending is 25 words.
Oh,
She's
that's right.
She's casting message. And
Okay,
so
yeah,
it's just a cantrip. If you're within 100 feet of me, I can just...
Okay, yeah.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yep.
Shit. I don't know.
Well, how about... I'll go down and I'll listen. And see if I can, peek in a window or just listen closely. And if it sounds like something run-of-the-mill, then we can knock on the door and just say, hello, what are you up to? If it sounds like they're sacrificing someone to the devil, then we can go and get guards.
But if they're sacrificing someone to the gods, then it's fine.
Sure.
Miss Celeste, I went down to the door and I could feel that there's definitely people just past that door. What did the others say? Should we go and wait outside the door and just see if we can listen in while they wait? Ready?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Oh, yeah, good idea. Let's do
I
that.
just think that, trying to sneak in without actually knowing what's going on inside might be detrimental to our safety.
Come
They're
in.
right there.
Oh, what if I'll get up close and I'll try listen in? Why don't you guys try sneak around to the front and see if you can get your way in there? If it's not, I don't know, just like an alternate entry and or exit if things go wrong.
Try. I just don't... What if they're just having a Alcoholics Anonymous meeting? And we're breaking in.
Maybe tell Mr. John that you and I can look like them when we knock on the door, but he can't, and he's only got one arm, and he's also the better one at, like, if they run away, it's stopping them from running away. Whereas I can stop them while I'm a spider, but not if I turn into looking like one of them.
Yes, I know, but the thing is, if we're going to be looking like them, I want to know what's going on first. Because if we, if everyone's already in there, and if they're right behind that door, they open the door and they go, hey, everyone's already here, who are you? And then all of a sudden it's just, oh, there's Charlie, but you're also Charlie. And I feel as though it'll just cause a whole thing.
Well, I'm a big spider. I'm a big spider. I could like go in as a little spider, but then I wouldn't be able to be spiders anymore.
Look, I'm going to climb down off this roof, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to listen, and just see if I can hear. If anyone else wants to come, be very quiet. I'm just going to go up to the window and just have a little peek and listen and see if I can hear what's going on.
Oh, if you got that, I'm gonna go around front. I'm gonna go check there. Drake, you can either follow me or Celeste is coming down this direction.
I'm coming with you, John.
All right.
I have no way of communicating.
Quiet is key. Quiet is key.
Quiet thoughts. Quiet.
So who is doing what?
Jean's going around the front, and he's going to quietly, with Drekik, he's going to quietly try check the windows at the front, see if any of those are unlocked.
All of them are
check
locked.
the door. Okay.
And door is locked as well.
And then he's going to try just listening from that side.
Right,
Well,
so
I
make
presume.
a perception check with disadvantage because it's on the other end of the house.
Yeah.
And Celeste, what were you doing?
Sneaking up very quietly to the door or to like the window to see if I can like just give a peek to see what's going on inside, and then just listen to see if I can hear.
Right.
If I can hear any noises or phrases or screaming or anything like that.
Perception check as well. And Ingwe, what are you doing?
Yeah, going with Celeste.
Right, so you want to make a perception check as well?
Sure.
What did you get, Sean?
3.
24, but with disadvantage 7.
7.
I got a 19.
19. So, Sean, you can't really hear anything. Drekik, you can kind of hear voices coming from further down, but it's not really... You can hear someone's definitely there, but you can't really figure out what they're saying because you're on the wrong side of the house. It's just not possible.
There's voices, John. I hear them.
You know, your arm is much louder when you're not wearing it. I realize, like, I can't focus past the noises yours are making.
So what did you get, Celeste and Ingwe?
I got a 21, 17 plus 4.
And Ingwe?
I got 9.
9. So you see another shooting star. One of those nights.
God's sending you a messaging way.
The giant spider has +7 to perception.
Well, stupid ass roll sometimes. You hear a few things, Celeste. You peek a little bit through the window and you see this group of individuals standing in a circle. You still can't see their faces because they're all wearing these cloaks. One of them says, "Well, thank you for coming tonight. So we have to go and continue where we left off. So the plan is, what is the plan today?" And he points to one of the other ones and says, "Moloch, what is the plan?" And he says, "Well, we're going to assassinate the king, but first we have to deal with the leech." "Right. And how are we going to do that?" And he points at another one and says, "Service. How are we going to do that?" "Well, I as warlock, I am going to blast him and I'm going to summon a demon." "Right. That's pretty much what we're going to do. Are you ready to start this?" "Yes." "Come on, let's sit down." And they go over and sit down at the table.
They're playing D&D. I love that.
Fuck you, fourth wall!
Not getting much on this side, Celeste. What's going on that side?
Celeste just kind of like turns with her back to the wall and just like slides down and goes, "I think they're playing a game.
What?
I think they're playing a...
people's lives.
No, I think they're playing a game of make-believe.
People's
playing-
lives.
No, it sounds like something... It's a game I've heard of, Travelers and Tankards. It's a...
It's called Mazes and Hydras.
Mazes and Hydras. No, it sounds like some sort of like fantasy action game. They're all sitting down at a table and they've all got different roles.
You can see through the window now as well. They're sitting down at an actual round table, and one guy has like almost like a blackboard where he's drawing like a labyrinth, and they're sitting there and they're rolling dice, and they're like, "Oh yeah, come on!" and they're like having fun.
What do you mean? They're like pretending to be like.
Well, come round to look.
I don't like the sounds of this. This sounds like demonic or something.
Someone call the church.
Yeah.
I see how this
find out-
started now.
Sean's the satanic panic guy.
Someone get the manager.
Aaron?
Come on, Drake. They're like playing some sort of game. I don't like the sounds of it.
Hopefully it's not anything anti-religious or.
I'm with you.
Well, as you all end up peeking through the windows, you can very clearly see them playing mazes and hydras.
Oh, Maze Master, not Mace or Mazes in Corn. Maze,
Yeah.
like.
Seems to be
Dungeon
Not-
Master.
very dangerous, but it seems like one of them is playing a warlock.
That's Tom in game. That's the self-insert. The guy that's playing the Warlock at the table, that's Tom's DM self-insert. That guy. That NPC.
I thought about giving them real names like Laura and Jake.
Those are the characters they're playing.
yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway, it doesn't seem to be nefarious at all. It seems to be very cloak and dagger, but more like
They're embarrassed.
probably a little embarrassed by their wives and such. It's not very common in this area to play.
It's like it was viewed by the public in the 70s. Like that sort of a thing where
Yeah.
if you were known to play it publicly, people often give you shit.
Yeah,
They go
yeah,
underground.
exactly. So, it might not be dangerous.
Should we just knock?
I don't think we should disturb them.
But like, isn't this our mission?
No, it's just to find out what's going on.
They said we should stop it if it looked dangerous, and I mean, why do they need to gather with cloaks? And I mean, look at those symbols they're drawing on that thing. Is that?
They
Is
don't
it a
mean
plan?
anything.
It's
No,
just
they're
math.
it's just gibberish.
It's just math.
See that
Sean
weird
doesn't know
shape
that,
that's got like a squiggle with two legs under it? It's just gibberish. It's nothing.
I don't.
One of those wooden carving things that they're bringing out.
It's like chess. Except with no board, and they're just moving them in random directions. I don't understand it, but I don't think it's dangerous.
All right.
Voodoo magic, if I ever seen it.
Well, you can knock on the door and ask them if you'd like, but
I will.
I just get wide up and knock on the door.
They immediately just shift and they don't know where to hide. And some of them just drops underneath the table, and one is like, shit, fuck. And he goes over to the door and he takes his cloak off, and you can see that it is one of the local merchants that are selling some of the dried goods. You have seen him a few times. It's around 30 years old or something, and he's just waiting till everyone's hidden underneath the table, and he's opening the door. Yes, can I help you?
And Drake's just going to be very straightforward, and he's just going to go, "Hello, are you summoning a demon?"
No, I am practicing my sewing skills.
Insight.
You don't have to. You already know he's lying.
Like,
Don't you lie to us!
Shoulder over your shoulder.
Hey, no, okay. We're just having a friendly gathering.
we've seen you drawing symbols and playing with idols, and we think you're summoning a demon, and we want you to stop.
We're not summoning any demons. Like
Why wear
that's
cloaks and
math.
being all
That's
secretive
like
and shit.
mathematics. We're just rolling dice.
What?
We're just rolling dice. Come on, come on.
Only
I'll
have
show you.
6 sides.
No, not all of them. Come on,
Ingwe
come
will
on.
come down and follow the instruction to come in.
Holy shit! Is that your dog? That's a freaky weird dog.
this is our
Anyway.
friend. Sorry for the confusion. We were asked by some of the guards to find out why there were people skulking around in cloaks at all odd hours of the night, because it seems with the ongoing, threat to the city and to the kingdom, they just asked us to look into it. And
Right. Well, come on in, I guess. Guys, it's okay. They found us playing games. Well, we're just playing this new game that that we've bought. It's called Mazes and Hydras. It's like a fantasy game. You play dice and you play a character. And Bob's playing he's playing a wizard. He doesn't have a lot of hit points, but yeah.
So hit point.
So that's how much damage you can take before you die.
How
It's,
many punches?
yes. Yeah. Sorry for the misconception, but we're just playing a game. You can
Well-
investigate everything if you want, but there's nothing
walks
here
up.
out of the ordinary.
I
Oh, okay, yeah.
I am glad that it's nothing more than a game. This is the easiest job we've had in a very long time, so thank you.
Right. Is there any way you could keep this a secret? I mean, we do this, but our wives don't really know about this. I mean,
I have no idea who your wife is. The only person that I will be
Good.
telling is the man who hired us in the first place.
Right.
And I doubt that, as long as he knows it's not a threat, he does seem very black and white. I don't think he'll care as long as you're not, planning on bombing the city or something.
no.
Or assassinating the king?
We're pretty friendly. Like, I work in hospitality, and the others are pretty much just carpenters and such.
Yes, well, as of tomorrow, you'll never see us again, so...
Right. Right. Sorry for the misconception. We're just having some fun.
Well, enjoy, and get the Hydra, and may your spells be good. That's what Turner-
Amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Lester's
I
going to
will
pick
do
up one of the dice on the table and roll it as she goes to walk out.
Roll it at 20.
13.
Oh, that's pretty good. Like, that's over average.
That's for 13 hits.
I mean, you guys could join us if you want.
No, sorry, we're leaving back to the kingdom
Oh,
tomorrow, but...
But,
right.
Celeste, I'm curious.
Do you want to stay and play with them tonight? Because I'm going back and going to sleep.
I might stay. Curious as to how this works.
Right. Oh, we can make a character pretty quickly. We just have this 975 rule book you have to read.
4 out now. Create a
Right.
backstory, 2 pages.
Drinking opens one page and is immediately just like, well, can't read any of that.
Ah, yes, I especially like this rule on page, whatever this one is.
Counts the
one with
pages.
a
It's
picture
upside
of
down.
this thing. You know what? I think I'm gonna leave you guys here. But, I will also roll one of your fancy dice because I'm better than Celeste, as you can see. Nat 1.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
I thought so. It's a natural 1. If I
Right.
could read what that is.
Right. Well, I mean, if that's all, we're just going to continue. We have to, kill the leash and then the dragon and all the other stuff, and then we eventually have to kill
Legion.
the bad king and blah blah blah.
You get to kill a dragon?
Hang on.
Yeah,
hang
I mean,
on.
in the game.
Legion?
Yeah.
Oh, in the game.
No, I said the leash.
The leash.
I said the leash. We have to kill the leash and the dragon.
Oh,
What's a leash?
I heard the Legion.
No, that's not what I said.
You don't happen to know anything about a Legion, do you?
Nope.
He picks up one of the dice on the table and...
No. I sell bread.
All right. Don't.
Well, be warned, for the next 12 hours, we'll be watching.
That's okay. You can watch if you want. Like, we don't mind people watching as long as you don't tell our wives.
Sean just starts slowly backing out. All right.
Did we get paid already by that guy?
No.
No.
No?
We
Alright.
had to go to.
Swing by him in the morning before we're on our way.
Yeah. We had
Yeah,
to go
but-
somewhere. I've got it written. I'll find it eventually, but we had to go to a particular spot to collect our payment. The Sophidran
Council.
Sophidran. Sorry,
There's a tower in
yes.
the middle.
Yes, that's
Okay.
it.
Alright. We shall go there in the morning. I'm done for the night. I think.
We all
I'm
are.
so glad that was nothing nefarious. I am honestly so relieved. I was very, very worried.
I'm so confused. You guys are just. You draw nefarious in, and that was just so that was just so normal. It wasn't normal.
So far as they've said.
I think I believe them.
Are you still in the room or did you go out?
John walked out.
Oh, we've
You're all gone out.
Yeah, we're all gone.
No,
Yes.
Ingwe stayed in the room.
As
the spider.
No. Ingwe would have turned out of the giant spider, turned invisible while we did that for like one turn,
Right.
and then disguised self into like Jam.
Right. You see them just continuing playing and they're laughing a little bit at what happened and playing, and then eventually one of them is like, "Oh, how do you want to do this?" And then you know how it works.
His name is
Please
Pat
explain
Cursor.
to us. Explain to us in
Pass
full
you,
detail.
Hersa.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah.
Oh, man.
Their entire campaign and character backstories from start to finish.
Ingwe's read the rule book. By the end of the night, read the rule book, created several characters.
970 pages.
You found out that there's a version called a cleric.
I feel like that was second edition. Anyway, what else would you like to do now?
What were the dice made of, out of curiosity as well?
Bone, wood, probably metal too, actually.
I still don't trust it. I licked one of the dice. I wanted to see, and I'm pretty sure it was bone.
Bone.
Well, I have bone dice. Doesn't mean that I'm evil.
So raises an eyebrow, Celeste.
Are we sure they weren't summoning some sort of demon?
Good night. So that's going to start walking up back down towards the
I
tent.
feel like the roles have reversed. Earlier it was you, like Celeste and Ingwe talking about the gods, and we're like, oh, okay, we're off. Now it's like Drekik and John just like, clearly they were doing something nefarious. It's like several hours of discussion.
Drekik and John are boomers.
Well, as you eventually leave, it also begins to snow a little bit heavier than it did earlier. Before it was a little bit here and a little bit there, and starts now to stay. So the snow starts to build up slightly.
I don't like this.
Doesn't cause issues with our flight tomorrow. Oh shit! I was
Parting
gonna
gift.
before we headed out. I'll see her in the morning.
But is there anything else that you want to do for the night? Do you want to go get your money, or do you want to do that tomorrow morning, or what is your plan?
Go in the morning.
Go in the morning.
Right.
Do it on the way to the airship.
Right.
Swing by.
So all of you are heading back to bed.
4 hours. I'd be 4 hours later. I'm
Right.
playing.
What are you doing? You're playing?
Playing the game. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So the three of you are going back to bed, I'm guessing?
Where's Ingray?
Yeah. I feel like unless Drekik would want to go to bed earlier, John would be talking with Drekik about it.
No, we'd be
speculating
talking
about
for a
ideas.
while.
Yeah. Until sort of like only calming down once Ingwe would be coming back, and it's like, oh shit.
Ingray,
Ingwe,
what did
right.
you find out? Were they summoning a demon?
Far out. I want to say no.
He's not come back
can't.
yet. He's still in
Oh, yeah,
there
yeah,
playing,
yeah,
so it will
yeah,
take
yeah,
a little
yeah.
while for him.
Yeah.
But what are your plan to go to bed, or what is your plan now? The three of you.
They're talking until I come back. So
Right.
unless something bad happens to me in the 4 hours.
Celeste would have very audibly and visibly tossed and turned and grunted and as they're like talking. It's like,
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Anyway,
So anyway, on the way back, you feel a cold shiver. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
we split the party.
21.
Right. Shake it off. It's a weird sensation. And then someone grabs you. Someone grabs you and you turn around and you're staring into these two almost golden yellow eyes behind this hood. And someone says, "Where's Celeste?" And that's where we'll end tonight's episode.
Ah, shit. Bob was playing a
Golden
wizard.
yellow.
Golden yellow eyes.
And that's actually, as he grabs you, you also notice he has 4 arms.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
So just to
Dude,
like,
you can borrow one of his shots.
Ingwe wouldn't have been secret because you've got this, because he's not a thing, so he can use the sending stones. He would have been like, "Oh man, this is cool," and then the next bit, so you would have had like half an hour updates about the game. Adding
Oh
to your
guys, I just
discussion.
killed
Yeah.
10 zombies.
We just assassinated the king. You just assassinated the king.
Echo 4, go, take him out. When all
Leaving
these
Ray alone
screen
for
cloaking
5 minutes
people
and
come
he
in.
just levels an entire city.
And I'm just the guy listening to half of the phone conversation.
Yeah.
What? Did you reach?
Put it on speaker, put it on speaker.
But yes, someone grabs. Anyway, that's where we'll leave today's episode. So,
damn.
let's roll for raid.
Raid.
Roll for raid.
Oh, come on.
13.
No.
I never get these. I think I've only ever gotten it like once.
13.
4.
Oh.
Two.
What did
I'm
you
gonna
get,
roll with
Ingrid?
advantage.
4, 2.
4. So 2 4s, a 13. Drekig?
I got a 13.
13 as well?
I
Sean?
also got a 4.
What the fuck? Okay, what is the sum of that?
Yeah.
17, the 17th. Wait, that's not right. Is it 13?
I didn't
I
hear all
think
the
12.
numbers. So I can't say.
3 4s is 12, right?
No, but I mean, like, there's the 2 numbers itself, because it was 4 and 13, right? So 17, I guess. 4. 18.
Don't know.
The 18.
I'm lost.
Yep.
Ignore it. I am gonna focal mind, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't want to roll, Drekig?
He rolled 13.
Yeah, but I
rolled
did roll 13 as well.
Okay, yeah. We both rolled 13.
So
Oh,
we
it's
did.
a roll off.
So we roll off against each other.
Oh.
Got 11.
I got an 8.
Right. Okay. Who is our options for today?
Alrighty. A lot of reruns, a popular thing with D&D apparently. So just looking.
See if
Make
there's
sure
anyone
like-
playing in mazes and hydras. They're definitely getting.
Right, I'll check that instead.
I hope you had just busted in guns blazing.
No results were found for mazes and hydras. Sorry.
Well, maybe it's another side channel.
There is a group by the name of Dice of Fate. They're doing episode
Oh.
79 of their Eberron Rising campaign.
Interesting.
There is a group by the name of Atticus 64. They're doing a Mythic Odysseys in Theros.
Right.
There is another. Is it the same people? Oh, it's the same people. Crub XD is also doing the same thing, but they're just streaming it on 2 different channels, it looks like.
Crub XD. Yeah. Okay.
I think we've rated them once or twice before.
Feel like I heard them before. Yeah. Cool.
Much dismay. This is our training montage moment. Australian stream. There's actually a few. The Fourth Culture. They're doing Origins, so I'm guessing maybe the start of their thing.
What is the Australian one playing D&D, or what are they doing?
Yeah, it appears to be. Just
Well, let's pick
I
them.
think so.
Not a lot of us Australian streamers out
say
there.
hi.
They've
Yeah.
got D&D Beyond open, 6 screens, and yeah, it's in the D&D thing.
Right. Well, let's do that one. I think.
All right.
Let's go.
Cool.
Raid. Much
Let's go
dismay.
Let's get our monsters and raid him in chat. If you got the
Monsters
emote,
and Mayhem.
spam it, give them love, say hi, give them a follow.
Yeah.
Give them a hug. Send them money. Deliver him from Nigerian princes. You know the drill.
Sweet. Raid is ready to go.
Let's go.
Thanks all for tuning in.
Cool.
Counting down for 3,
Thank you, everybody.
2,
Love you guys.
1. Raid time! Monsters and raid time!